All right, we are back, and if you are just joining us, we are RPG Limit Break 2017, and we're in Salt Lake City, Utah. We are here to benefit NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. You should be aware that this is Mental Health Month, so join the conversation on Twitter. You can get there with hashtag Mental Health Month or hashtag Stigma Free. I'm Koal Lazy. I'll be joining you for the next couple of hours. We're about to watch Plum, and Plum is going to be taking it away pretty soon with the Mega Man Star Force 2 run, any percent no cards. We do have a couple bid incentives coming up as well. The game after this, we have Sweet Home, and you can name characters in that. And we also have some Secret of Evermore incentives coming up shortly after Sweet Home. So get those bids in now. Make sure that you have those in as quick as possible because there's not going to be too much time before those are closed.
Are the mics on?
Okay.
All right, so this is the version you donated for, Zerker Cross Sarian, and I have to unbox this live on stream. You're seeing me open a brand new copy of this. Whoa. Give that a round of applause. A fresh European copy of the game. Heck yeah, dude. Brand new unboxing world record.
This
Only
has to be a
speedrun.
first. Unboxing a game in a marathon.
All right, so this is how you know this is a legit speedrun. Brand new game cartridge right out of the box. This is the standard for this game.
No cheats.
No cheats allowed. All right, so I'm gonna set up a couple things real quick, and then I'll be ready to start the run. All right, so are you guys ready for the countdown? All right, 3, 2, 1, and go.
All right, hey guys. So Plum's got to do some password stuff really quick. I'll explain that in a second. But this is Mega Man Star Force 2. This is part of some of the spin-offs for the Mega Man series that include Star Force and Battle Network. As this is RPG Limit Break, they are RPG spin-offs. And they largely focus on kind of a card/deck building mechanic, where in Battle Network you had battle chips, in Star Force you have battle cards. So Plum's going to be kind of managing throughout the run a deck of 30 cards that he's going to draw randomly from during each encounter and during each turn of that encounter. And he's going to have to adapt to whatever cards he draws in a lot of situations. So the main thing that separates Star Force from Battle Network, other than the series being on the DS as opposed to Game Boy Advance, is that these games are a lot more action-oriented than kind of the more slower strategic pace of Battle Network. And that's definitely going to show itself in this run. So what Plum's doing right now is called Cypher Mail. It's basically a mechanic that's in all of the Battle Network and Star Force games. But in this game, you get access to it right away, whereas in Battle Network, you have to wait. And basically what these passwords give you is some specific battle chips or battle cards in this game that are going to make, especially the early sections of the run, but actually the entire run, a lot easier. Another thing that I should mention is that this is the no cards category. There were some like e-reader style cards that were released for this game that you could scan to get battle cards and various other things. And that also ties into the version as well. Plum's running on the PAL version. He's running on the Plum version. He's running on the PAL version, which has all those e-reader card functionalities completely removed. And to compensate for that, they added a little bit more Zenny into this game. So that's going to come into play when we need to buy a bunch of Cloakers, which pretty much just cut down on random encounters a crap ton, and are going to just add a lot of consistency to the run. So Plum's getting almost done here. So yeah, if we have a couple more donations, just go ahead and squeeze those in.
Certainly, yep. We do have a couple coming in. We actually had one that came in towards the end of the last run as well, just to get caught up, from Can Murray for $25. Since we're playing Disgaea, do even lift, bro? Sencha? And also coming in from LLK for 40 bucks. Hey, RPG Limit Break. Do we even lift bosses? Anyway, LLK here. We've only just begun, and there have already been so many great moments, from Moogle tosses to ogre battles to Eris revenge to everyone standing on everyone else's shoulders. Keep it up, and as always, I'll be watching and waiting and judging. Money goes towards my 2 names for Sweet Home because I love that game and because I'll never forget how Rain showed me how to run the game years ago. Good luck, Rain, and please sign my Pac-Man.
We've got time for maybe 1 or 2 more if you've got more.
Yeah, this is the final code.
All right, then I've got one more for you. This is actually a follow-up from LLK, another $40. Hey guys, did you know that you can't donate for 2 different names for the same game simultaneously? So here's my donation for the other Sweet Home name. And Rain, seriously, sign my Pac-Man, or I'm shoving you into a burlap sack.
All right, and with that legendary note, I'm done with Cypher Mail.
Legendary.
All right, now I'm gonna do a quick folder edit, and I can explain a few other mechanics. So one of the things I got was Mirage Eye, which is a super, super busted weapon because it has a 100% chance to inflict confusion. So you saw me do a couple things right there, and I'm gonna explain battle cards real quick. So you can have 30 cards in your folder. You can only have 3 cards of the, well, same battle card. And I set some as my favorite. And what favorite does is the way you select battle cards is right now I can only select battle cards with either the same name if they're in one of the vertical columns, or if it's a white card, which is my favorite cards, it's sort of like a wild card, and I can take it in combination with anything else. So it's really nice. And the cards I set as my favorite right there are plasma guns, and plasma guns will inflict paralysis on enemies, which is exactly what it sounds like. And paralysis is mainly really nice because if an enemy is paralyzed, they don't get iframes. So I'm going to try and chain paralysis on a lot of bosses. And you're also going to see a little bit of combat here. One really nice thing about Star Force 2, as opposed to like every other game in the Battle Network and Star Force series, is this is the only game in both series that lets you skip the tutorial. You still need to do the fights, but Mega, which is your alien partner, actually realizes you've played like 9 of these games before. So I'm just doing these real quickly. And I guess one thing that really differentiates Star Force from the Battle Network speedruns is in the way you get battle cards off of counter hits. So in Battle Network, when you would, in 4 through 6, when you would counter hit an enemy, you'd go into a state called full synchro. And basically full synchro would double the damage of your next chip. And that's really nice on bosses, but it's not super practical for ending a lot of random encounters quickly, because you'd rather just have more cards to do more attacks on the added enemies in the fight. So in Star Force, when you counter hit an enemy, you get a battle card, but only if you counter hit with a card that wasn't generated from a counter hit. So I'm going to be trying to counter hit most enemies, especially the bosses, because it'll make the boss fights go a lot faster. And sort of, just like in Battle Network, even though I'm transforming on the overworld to turn into Mega Man, I can only pulse in at these specific wave points, which are like the jack-in points. And if I pulse out, I'll be returned to the point where I jacked in. So that's one other big difference with Star Force, is now a lot of the internet areas are just like electromagnetic waves that exist in the real world, and there's kind of an overlap. So on some of these fights, I'm going to be actually killing them, because right now I want to get a couple battle cards, because right now in my folder I still have recoveries, and I don't want recoveries in my folder because when you counter hit you get a random card, and that random card could be a recovery, which would cost me a lot of damage. And then one other nice little change that Star Force does from Star Force 1 is when you use a battle card, you don't lose your Buster Charge. So on a lot of fights, I'll be weaving in Buster shots between paralysis. So I'm also going to be getting another battle card real soon, which should round out all the battle cards I need, because I got the Mad Vulcan and I have gotten the 2 Grand Waves so far, plus a Paralyze Plus, which is it's like a modification card. I can take Paralysis Plus after any other battle card, and it'll just add Paralysis to it, which is, again, extremely nice for being able to just chain stun bosses. Because one thing with this game, how Oro here mentioned that this game has the sort of e-reader-like stuff with the wave command cards. This game really, really wanted you to use those, so they made a lot of the bosses and scaling in this game kind of bad, just to compensate for having all of the extra features. But since I'm not using them, I really need the sort of extra push that I get from having so much paralysis in my folder, which will make a lot of stuff more consistent. And I also mentioned briefly the weapon that I got from Cypher Mail earlier, which is really, really nice. The weapon that I picked up, it adds confusion to basically every single charge shot, and when an enemy is confused, their attacks actually won't come out. They'll be able to attack, but just nothing happens. So that with paralysis means it's relatively safe, but my Buster is extremely weak right now. It's only doing 20 damage per shot, and my charge stat is very low, so I don't want to use it too often. And also when an enemy is in confusion, since they won't really be attacking on a consistent pattern, I won't really be able to counter hit enemies while they're confused. So I only want to I only want to use that if I don't have any other battle cards to use, or if there's not going to be an opportunity to counter the boss. And right now you're going to be seeing me make a couple little detours for HP memory. And these little detours will save a ton of time in the long run, because how run rates in this game work is they're based on your max base HP. And let's see if this is the encounter I wanted it to be, and it is. This is a G-Virus encounter, which basically the viruses are bigger, and you'll get a star card off of it. Star cards act as like the extra cards in your folder, so you can go above the 30 card limit, and I'm going to do this edit real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remove these recoveries. I'm going to add in my Grand Wave, my Mad Vulcan, my 2 Grand Waves, and I'm going to add in Paralysis Plus. Missed that one. But yeah, star cards, in addition to being a 4th copy of a battle card in your folder, they boost the power of all the other cards in your folder, which is awesome. So now my Grand Waves are doing 80 damage, where previously they were only doing 50. So that's going to add up to be quite a bit throughout the course of the run. But like I was saying with HP memory affecting run rates, there's an item in this game called Cloakers. And Cloakers, what they will do is if you can get the max run rate from the highest battle level encounter of an area, then using a Cloaker will filter out all random encounters, except for one specific type, but it's only a 5% chance to get that. So let's just hope I don't get it. But saying that, I probably just jinxed myself. Oh well. Alright, and now I'm heading off to the first area, and with this first dungeon that I'm going to be heading to real soon, Phantom Black, I will only have 1 Cloaker in the area, because there's no spot in the game where I can actually purchase or acquire a bunch of Cloakers right now. Fortunately, I don't hit the Cloaker rate for Phantom Black's comp. Comp is just kind of the name for dungeons in this game. I won't hit the Cloaker rate for it until about halfway through, and this is the only Cloaker in a blue mystery wave in the entire game. It's conveniently right before it, and this Cloaker will last for half of the comp, so that just works out really, really nicely. So these first few dungeons are kind of the more inconsistent part of the run, just because you need to rely on run rates so heavily until you can really start just eliminating all random encounters. Because one thing that a lot of people criticize this game for is the encounter rate, because how the encounter rate works in this game is after 250 walk frames. A walk frame is basically 1 frame where Geo is walking. the game will roll the first encounter check, and then after every 10 walk frames, the game is going to roll another encounter check, and it increases the odds of getting into an encounter increase by 1% for every failed encounter check on the 10 frame sort of check. So right now I'm just doing a little bit of plot progression, but I'm getting real close to Phantom Black's scenario. So this is sort of like one other thing that Star Force and Battle Network both do quite a bit of, but this will be introducing another mechanic real quickly as kind of a tutorial. So in this game, there's a lot of side quests, and a lot of the side quests I need to do in my route, even though they're optional, because they'll be giving me HP memory, and I need this HP memory to hit the higher Cloaker rates in the game. And how they work is everybody sort of has these star carriers that are, it's kind of like their social media or whatever. You can see it on the top screen right now. And it's kind of like a diary or a journal, and they'll write like requests they want done. And if you go up to them while transformed as Mega Man, if they have a pink little box above their head, that means there's a request that they want you to do. And fulfilling the request, every one I do in this speedrun will give me HP memory. And I'm also going to be making a few more detours to grab blue mystery waves that contain Zenny, because the item that I need to buy the Cloakers, I'll need a ton of Cloakers throughout the run, and it just adds up very quickly. So getting all this Zenny is nice, but these two Zenny pickups that I'm going to get real soon, these add up perfectly to 1,000 Zenny, which is how much an HP Mem 20 costs from the shop, and that is going to be required for me to be able to sneak run in Cloaker Phantom Black's comp. Yeah, so now that I've got Mega here, I can look into people's star carriers. And right now I'm helping this dude figure out what type of guys this girl likes, because he's going to give me a hoverboard, and this hoverboard's going to allow me to get Bud's ticket, which will let me see a movie. The plot in all of these games is very convoluted and kind of a row. So that's kind of like one of the few main gimmicks. Star Force 1 had little Navi cards that you would use on the overworld to interact with it, and this game uses the matter waves, which are just key items that you need for plot progression at points. So now I'm heading into the movie theater, and this is basically the start of the first dungeon. First though, I'm gonna get through a couple more plot progression points and required dialogue boxes. You can advance text really quickly in this game, but there's a couple spots where I'm just going to be holding B to advance the text instead of holding B while mashing A to advance it as fast as possible, because there will be a lot of dialogue box confirmations that I need to make after them, and I'll get a lot more dialogue if I accidentally select one of the answers. Alright, so this is the start of Phantom Black's comp. And one thing that really differentiates Star Force 2 from the entire rest of the series is this game has all of the comps take place in the overworld, which is awesome. Where all of the other games sort of have a separate internet area that you need to do stuff in. This just, the overworlds themselves get modified slightly, and this is where the action happens. So I'm gonna buy a HP memory real quick with the 1,000 Zenny I got perfectly in the route, and now I need to go activate the elevator, and then I can go do a bunch of back and forth, because this game also loves to give you a bunch of backtracking. But later on in the game, the backtracking will not be bad at all, because I'll just be cloakering through these areas, 0 encounters. It'll be really awesome. But I don't have a 100% run rate, so sometimes I'll be snap running on these fights, but not always, because if I see a draw that will end the encounter very quickly, and it has something like this in it, which is a roadster, I actually want to fight these, because this guy has a battle card I would like to get. So if I get Fire Ring, I'm really happy here. If I get Zenny, I need random Zenny in the route, so I'm still fine with that. Because there's going to be a boss later in the run, Queen Ophiuka. She has a ton of HP. Her pattern really doesn't allow for you to ever counter hit her. and the fight just goes really, really slowly if you never draw any of your fire-based cards. So getting the fire ring is really awesome since it does like 200 damage. But right now you're kind of seeing what the encounter rate is like in this game before I can actually Cloaker through it. So the encounter rate right now is about 75%. So I'm going to be failing it a couple times, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It happens. Alright, so turn 2 run. And the way run rates work in this game is you have like a cumulative chance added on to your run rate every single turn. And on turn 3, you've always got a 100% run rate, so you're just always going to be able to get out of there turn 1. And this encounter is kind of weird because I forgot the battle level for it. One thing to note is the battle level in these games is actually different. So just snap run. Because running is actually better than finishing the battle, because if I finished the battle, I would have needed to go through the enemy deleted animation in addition to getting the battle reward, which would have just been Zenny. And while I do need random Zenny, I'll be getting random Zenny from green mystery waves later, so I'd rather not wait through the extra little animations of getting that. So I guess I'll explain. There are 4 different types of mystery waves in this game. There are green mystery waves, which will have random contents, and I'm basically always hoping to get Zenny off of them. There are blue mystery waves, which have set contents, purple mystery waves, which have set contents, but I need an unlocker item to be able to open them, and I'm never going to do that in the run. And one thing I'm really hoping to get, but it's a very rare spawn, is a yellow mystery wave, and those will generally contain like 10,000 Zenny. So if I get those, I'm set for the entire run, and I can also actually Cloaker an entire extra dungeon. Because later in the game, I won't be able to hit the Cloaker rate for one of the dungeons, so I'm just going to have to rely on run rates for it. But if I do find one of those yellow mystery waves, which is extremely rare to happen in a speedrun, that saves an enormous amount of time from being able to Cloaker an extra dungeon. Because that Zenny gets put towards purchasing HP memory, which is the only way you can actually hit the run rate for that dungeon. So this is, I guess, kind of the second part of the dungeon, and this adds like more of an actual gimmick to it. Now there are going to be Budoks just running around on the overworld, and if I run into one of these Budoks, who are on set cycles, so I want to be making optimal pathing here so I can avoid the Budoks. If I run into one of them, I get into an encounter with them, and they are very, very obnoxious enemies. Alright, and this is a 100%. Oh, no. The run rates in this game, I assumed this was going to be a max run rate. There's a battle level for 2 mortars plus 1 met, and if I get that battle level is actually lower than this encounter, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but oh well. Also, I should note that max run rate does not mean 100% run rate, so that's fun. Fortunately, though, it's not too bad since I Cloaker most of the game, but just through these early sections, you're going to have to put up with it. And now you can kind of get a taste of what Budoks are like. They'll like kind of teleport away at a random speed, which is really obnoxious because I'm going to want to use a lot of the big AoE cards that I took from Cypher Mail to deal with them. But actually, even mashing as fast as possible, they can teleport away before I will actually get my battle card off, and they'll just live. So that's kind of annoying, but usually that doesn't happen. Usually. So yeah, I want to draw Sink Hook, Cancer Bubble, or Apollo Flame, and those are the draws I'm aiming for. And getting this here was really nice because I'm basically avoiding an encounter. So I usually get an encounter there, but now that I can just snap my Cloaker on, no more encounters. So that's awesome. And there aren't going to be any more encounters for the rest of the dungeon. Alright, so not an optimal draw, but I get a bunch of draws. I get white cards. I've got Paralysis Plus on the Grand Wave. And I'll just use Cancer Bubble here. Normally, if you have a dimming card, dimming means like a time stop animation. So like Apollo Flame or Cancer Bubble, I don't want to use them because their animation wastes a bit of time. But since the Budoks like to teleport around and be jerks, I figured it would be better just to end the encounter immediately so I didn't have to wait for a teleport. And so now I'm going into the final room of this dungeon. And this is going to have a bit tighter cycles on the Bootox to make, but it's still not too bad. And just being able to run through this encounter free is absolutely awesome compared to what you saw earlier, where just like every 2 steps I was not only getting an encounter, but I was failing to run 1-turn run a lot of them, which it happens. So this one's kind of tight to get by that guy, and snuck past him pretty cleanly. And I'm going to picking up some large energies, which are sub-chips that will allow me to recover my HP mid-dungeon, which I will be doing later on as like a marathon safety sort of thing. So that's cool. Yeah, that's a Hail Mary. It didn't quite work out like I wanted it to, but oh well. And this guy's dead on my short shot, so that was okay. Still though, I'm hoping to draw Apollo Flame, because if I draw Apollo Flame, these battles are just instantly over. And I didn't draw Apollo Flame again, but not the biggest deal in the world. This Grand Wave is going to clean up this encounter pretty nicely. And there's Apollo Flame SP. If only I had drawn that.
Thanks, buddy.
He had to show up eventually. And here we are at the boss. And this boss has like very small, like few frame window counter, and most of my battle cards have too long of a startup animation to actually be able to react to anything he does, which is kind of unfortunate. So what I'm gonna do here is I'll just chain him in Confusion. But I'm also waiting to go into the next turn, because both of these cards are going to inflict status ailments. So I'll have status ailments, and he's just going to be ready to beat up going right into this turn. And you're actually going to see I'm weaving in charge shots real quick in between my battle card usage while he's stunned, just to get some extra deeps in. There we go. That's Phantom Black. Really, that fight, the speed of it is entirely determined on if you draw the cards from Cypher Mail or not, since Apollo Flame is like 250 damage, Sync Hook is 190 damage, and that's just so much more damage than anything else in your folder can offer at the moment. The first few bosses are kind of going to be a recurring theme like that, where I basically need to draw the cards I'm getting off of my Cypher Mail, or there's just no way I can do them quickly. That's going to end pretty soon, though. So there's going to be one more boss I need to fight, which will be Taurus Fire. And then after Taurus Fire, I'm going to be good until Queen Ophiuka. And this is abilities. This kind of takes away the Navicust of Battle Network, and I can modify Geo's abilities. So right now I've got HP. This HP is not adding towards my Cloaker rate, because the Cloaker run rates are based on unmodified base max HP. And the way the amount of abilities you can take works is it's based on your link power, which you make some friends and they give you friendship points, and the number of friendship points you have determines how much stuff you can equip. So I will actually be taking an optional friend just to get some extra link power later in the run, because it'll allow me to open up a shortcut. So that'll save a good bit of time. So doing another job real quick. Alright, and one nice thing about this route is a lot of the times when I'm making these detours for HP Mem, there's actually required plot progression stuff I need to do at the same point. So before I can talk to Sonia to advance the plot, I need to be coming into the shopping plaza anyway to talk to Boreal, who's going to upgrade my Star Carrier. And it just so happens that those two other NPCs are just right in my path, and they were both giving me HP. So that's like a lot of the optional stuff I'm doing. It's just right in the route for plot progression, so it's pretty nice. Although there are a couple times where I'm going to make detours just to buy Cloakers or something, but that's kind of few and far between. And I guess one other thing I should mention that's also going to come into play soon is not every area works on just the same base walk frame multiplier. So if you're actually in the hotel section of the next area I'm going to, the walk frame multiplier, it basically reduces the encounter rate, which is really nice. Real quick, I'm just gonna go onto Luna's PC and download her wallpaper to improve this speedrun tenfold. So there we go. And there's a lot of like optional customization stuff in this game that you can do. Because also like how all of the NPCs and stuff have the little star carriers with messages and stuff, you can actually make your own too. And when you form brother bands, just like I guess sharing friend codes with real life people, you'll be able to see all that good information. So that's pretty neat. And there's one other thing, so a lot of these little small comps that I'm gonna be going into, wave spaces, a lot of these I will actually need to activate on the overworld as Geo before I can turn into Mega Man and actually pulse into them. And you're gonna see me do one thing real quick here to actually avoid getting an encounter. So if I need to go to the top of this, that's where the plot progression point is. But if I just run straight there, the game will already be rolling encounter checks, and I'm usually going to get an encounter going up to it. So I'm just going to pulse out and pulse in real quick, and that'll reset my encounter rate so I don't get any random encounters going to this fight. So that's nice. There's going to be a couple areas where I do just like little transitions like that, just for the sake of... And instead of going into the cut screen, waiting through a bunch of like little animations on the top screen, I just finished that fight off with my Buster. Because going back into the cut screen wastes a decent amount of time. So now I'm just pulsing out, going to sleep, and then I'm heading to the next area of the game. After any other donations, Dorit, you can get on some of those now.
Yep, we actually got quite a few coming in. We have $7.50 from Defensior. RPG Limit Break is the perfect thing to watch for me this week while recovering from having my gallbladder taken out on Friday. Looking forward to many great runs over the days ahead, and thanks to everyone involved. The least I can do is support your excellent cause with the hope that someday ailments of the mind can be dealt with as effectively as those of the body. Money goes towards naming a Sweet Home character D-Crap. Kudos to anyone knowing the reference. And we have $10 from VB23. Yo, Plum, good luck. Glad to see you're getting into the run this game at RPG LB. Just remember, my Star Force Discord is better than your Star Force Discord.
Thanks, VB. He is the self-proclaimed Star Force god.
We also have $20 coming in from Professor 9. You have found a blank card. If you put in the right command, this money can go towards any incentive of the runner's choice. And if I recall correctly, that's going to be skipping the defend glitch.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to give absolutely huge shout-outs to Prof 9 because he does like a lot of Battle Network and Star Force hacking stuff. So he got a lot of info dumps for this game, including cloaker rates, battle levels, and basically everything in my entire route is based on information that he's dumped for me. So he was a huge, huge help in running this. Also, shout-outs to Kay, who is a Japanese runner, and he currently has the record in any percent cards. So he's been putting a lot of work into this game too, and he's giving the commentary on the Japanese restream right now. So you can go check that out if you want. Yeah, so basically most of Grizzly Peak will actually go by relatively quickly. A lot of these early game comps and areas do. It's mostly just about grinding out that HP. And like I said, the run rate inside the hotel is actually the walk frame multiplier is reduced, so I can go a lot further without getting a random encounter. And I'm not going to be able to hit like a real 100% run rate. It'll just be stuck at that just right below 100%. So I'm going to be hopefully not, but probably failing a lot of one-turn runs here. Although I did just recently think of a reroute for this game, and they're going to be 2 random encounters that I can get in here. One has an enemy that's kind of like an electric sphere, and it'll drop me the chip Volti. And since I'm on the Zerker version right now, and Zerker will be the main Tribon form that I get in this game, it passively buffs the damage of all of my electric type battle cards. And since Volti hits multiple times, it adds up super quickly. But not only that, Volti can also pierce invincibility frames. So it's just all around good. And the other card I want to get, which is, I'm just thinking about this now in the route, Mop Lance is actually very important in the route now. And one sort of thing, all element cards in this game sort of have a different passive benefit. So if you use a fire card on an enemy over grass panels, it does double damage. Elect cards do double damage to enemies trapped in bubbles. If you hit an enemy on an ice panel with an aqua card, they get frozen. The thing with wood cards, which Mop Lance is they don't trigger iframes at all, but they will still flinch the enemy. So if an enemy is in paralysis, I can just quickly hit them with the wood type battle card, which will be flinching them, and immediately follow up with another. So it's kind of like a pseudo paralysis, which is really nice. And these are one of the most obnoxious enemies in the game, and probably the thing I've been practicing the most out of like everything here. All right, so let's see how these goes. I'm just gonna focus for a bit on this. These guys are really obnoxious to counter hit, so you need to hit them once, like every time they roll, like off the screen, they're gonna regenerate their barrier, and you need to hit them once before you can actually deal any damage to them. The time they actually start rolling and will attack you is entirely random, and it's really obnoxious, as well as the counter hit window for them is also just pretty small. So this is what I want to see, though. I love my buddy Apollo Flame, who just one-shots every encounter I draw him on. So again, ideally, he shows up.
That's kind of going to be a common theme in Star Force, especially compared to Battle Network, is that the counter windows are really, really tiny compared to Battle Network. We're talking like individual frame counts.
Really, that's just an issue in this game. The other Star Force games are fine. But one other reason that kind of makes the counter windows really iffy in this game is a lot of the chips have a gigantic startup animation, so you really can't react to the enemies at all, because they'll usually move like, say, 4 or 5 times before attacking, and since it's going to be a random number, you can't even like pause buffer to try and just pause buffer for a good counter hit to see when the enemy's actually attacking, because the startup animation for the chips is just too long, and it's impossible to react to an enemy encounter with a lot of chips in this game, especially cannons. Cannons are really, really bad. Swords are also, I don't want to say they're bad in this game. They are weird in this game, where swords are normally chips that just come out super fast and deal pretty high damage. That's not how they work at all in this game. Swords have a ridiculously long startup animation, but they also leave out a lingering hitbox. And any chip that has a lingering hitbox, I really, really like. Because, like, one thing with a lot of the enemies, like how they'll attack you, is they will teleport to you. And since they're like teleporting right in front of you, if you just throw out a chip with a lingering hitbox, they'll teleport into the hitbox to attack you and just instantly get a counter hit. So that's really nice. And there are 3 battle cards I really like doing that with. Vulcan, which is the best. Then there is Grandwave, which is pretty good. And then there's Swords, which I hadn't really even thought about this until recently, but the lingering hitbox on Swords is fantastic, and it more than makes up for the stupid long startup animation on them. So I'm also going to make... Grizzly Peak is the first area that has a Cloaker vendor, and really this is going to be the only area in the whole game that I come back to buy Cloakers, because it's so close to the bus stop. So another plot progression matter wave is going to be required here, but while I'm getting the plot progression matter wave, I will be picking up a couple blue mystery waves containing Zenny, which is all going to go towards Cloaker purchases. And pretty much all of this movement here is going to be done inside the hotel, and I'm going to have the reduced encounter freight because of the reduced walk frames here. So that's awesome. And I'm going to be pulsing into little small wave spaces, which will reset my step counter, so even further reducing the amount of random encounters I get here, which is just the best part of this game. Because casually, a lot of people really don't like this game because they feel the encounter rate is far too high. But there's a lot of ways to get around the encounter rate, which is why I feel like this is the best Star Force speedrun. It's my favorite of the bunch. And one thing that should also be noted about Cloakers compared to Sneakrun, which is their equivalent in the Battle Network games. In the Battle Network games, Sneakruns do absolutely nothing if you don't meet the 100% battle filter for an area, which I actually want this because of the reroute. What was I saying? Sneakruns, yeah. If you don't meet the 100% required HP value to get the guaranteed runs and get Sneakrun active in Battle Network, it does nothing. That was entirely changed in all of the Star Force games. They have unique Cloaker mechanics in each game, but the common theme with all of them is they give you an effect that you don't need the max HP value to get. So just even in a casual playthrough, where you're not like getting all of this HP mem, you can still use Cloakers and greatly reduce the encounter rate. So in Star Force 2, how they work is basically a single Cloaker, it's going to filter 3 battles. So when you would get into an encounter, a Cloaker in this game can filter the encounter, which just means it won't give it to you. And when you filter an encounter, it can do this up to 3 times until you just need to get another random encounter. And once you get that other encounter, then it can filter another 3 random encounters. So that's pretty nice. Although in Star Force 1, it just straight up doubles the walk frame interval between when the game is rolling encounter checks, which is also pretty nice, and that just effectively halves the encounter rate. And in Star Force 3, just Cloakers are very effective at mitigating encounters when you don't meet the HP value, and you still have the option of completely filtering encounters, where in Star Force 1 you can't completely filter out encounters with Cloakers, which makes the speedrun very, very inconsistent. Because one thing to note, I'm going to buy some Cloakers real quick. One thing to note about Star Force 1 and 2 is that they removed the ability to set a regular or default card, which in Battle Network you could set something as a regular default card, and you would just be guaranteed to draw that every single turn 1 of a fight. They removed that in Star Force 1 and 2, so you're just kind of up to the mercy of randomness as far as your draws go. Although that's why it's more important to actually build a decent folder in the speedrun, just so you can kind of mitigate some of that. In Star Force 1, you take a lot of Cypher Mail because of it, just so you have more chances to draw the powerful Cypher Mail to instantly end random encounters when you do get them, because you will. So this is Taurus Fire, and he's another boss just like Phantom Black, where it's going to be entirely dependent on if I will be drawing my... Alright, so I'm chaining Paralysis on him just so I can hit him with this, and then I'll get him with that. Just so I can weave in some more damage. So this fight is definitely not going like I'd hope it to. And that's pretty good. I can live with that. Weave in one more charge shot. Dead. Okay. Okay, fight. But just to compare that to if I drew Cancer Bubble, I instantly would have dealt 300 damage to him. Apollo Flame, 250. So it really is important on these early game fights to be drawing your Cypher Mail codes. But if you don't, you actually have to play well. And I played pretty well in that fight, so I'm happy with that. And going into the next boss of this area is going to be pretty quick. it's not too much plot progression, and just instantly to Yeti Blizzard. And Yeti Blizzard is going to be the first of the bosses that's just extremely consistent because he has a very nice pattern for counter hitting. Although with a lot of these bosses that even if they do have nice patterns for counter hitting, it will still be reliant on a lot of cards you do draw. So like on Yeti Blizzard, I'm still going to be wanting swords, I'm going to be wanting Mad Vulcans, I'm going to be wanting my lances, just all sorts of stuff like that. Especially not cannons, because cannons are just so awkward to counter with. But yeah, now I'm going to use another Matter Wave, which this is skiing. You can't actually get on the ski lift unless you equip this Matter Wave. And then I'm just going to go up the ski lift, down the ski lift, and then the second dungeon starts. So again, if there are any other donations before the second dungeon starts, that would be a good time for them.
Yep, we got a couple more for you. We have $25 from S. Matthew, aka Met King. Fools, you've angered the king of the Mets. For your acts against us, I've prepared a sacrifice of $25 to bring the wrath of the chicken god upon you. Best of luck. And we have a couple anonymous donations, 2 of them actually for $25 each, so thank you very much for those donations as well.
Alright, so basically this is the start of the second dungeon, and this is going to have another little mini-game I need to play. Fortunately, this is the only mini-game in the entire speedrun, which is awesome. That's like one thing I don't really like about Star Force 1 and 2 is they go crazy with mini-games, and this one's pretty okay. So basically it's just going to be skiing, but there will be a bunch of Mr. Hertz trapped underneath the snow that I need to run over with my skis because apparently that saves them. And there are going to be 2 types of obstacles I need to avoid. There will be trees and there are going to be snow roll heads. If I run into a tree, I don't care, that's cool. Because running into a tree will only reduce my HP, but if I run into a snow roll head, then I'm going to drop some of the Hertz I've collected. And I don't need to be worried about missing a certain number of these and failing the minigames, because you can't fail these minigames. It'll just keep on giving you more cycles to be able to pick up Hertz until they're over. The first time I ever saw a run of this game, I was just like shocked at how hard some of these later ones got, because I thought you like could only miss a couple of them. But still, in a speedrun, you don't want to miss too many, because you want to be able to just end these cycles as soon as you get to the end. You don't want to be adding cycles to them. So there's going to be 1 more in this area, and there will be 3 more skiing minigames in the next area, and each one of them will get progressively faster and require me to pick up more Mr. Hertz. And pretty soon you're also going to be seeing little Hertz lined up side by side, and you can actually pick up both of those in a single bit of movement, but it's kind of tricky. I call those doubles, like right there, so I was getting some good doubles. Although you don't really just want to mash for it, and you should actually be timing it, because there will be a lot of snow roll heads hidden within like the sections for doubles, and if you hit one, you lose more Mets than, or more Mr. Hertz than you probably were gaining from the doubles. So that's it for this area, and there's just going to be 3 more in the second area, and I will need to use 1 more Cloaker in this comp. And I guess I'll just mention it now in case it happens, is Cloakers don't filter every encounter. There are these special encounters that contain Mr. Hertz inside of the battles, and basically they're like sort of a special objective in some battles, where if you can complete the battle without ever hitting the Mr. Hertz or letting them take damage at all, then you will get a special little unique item. I don't care about that item at all, so I don't care, but getting into those encounters, they can actually go through Cloakers. It is a 5% chance on a would-be successful encounter check to get into one of those. So it can rarely happen, and I usually expect to get like 1. And they also don't use the same run rate values, which is kind of annoying. So they're kind of just doing their own thing. So final Cloaker of this dungeon, and then there's going to be 2 more ski sections, and both of these are going to be a lot faster than the previous ones, and I will be picking up one more HP Mem 20 in this little comp right at the end. Then I'm at a Yeti Blizzard, and Yeti Blizzard is going to be a really fun fight because compared to Phantom Black and Taurus Fire, who I just fought, he's actually going to be consistent, and I love consistent bosses. It's kind of what I'm trying to do with this route by playing on Zerker, in addition to setting up my folder with a bunch of paralysis cards. So I guess I'll explain right now kind of how versions work. So there are two versions of this game. There's Zerker Cross Saurian, which I'm playing on. It won the bid war. And there's Zerker Cross Ninja. So each game cartridge has two versions on it, and there are 3 versions total. And I'm playing on Zerker because it's just objectively the best tribe, which is the main transformation system for speedrunning. But later on in the game, I'm going to be getting access to Double Tribe, and that's going to be based on the opposite version of the one on my cartridge. So for this, I'm going to be getting Double Tribe Saurian, which will be affecting my Link Force Big Bang, which I will, again, explain later on in the run when I get to that. But that's kind of the main thing going on with the versions. The reason why Zerker is so much better than the other two, though, is because it gives you side select, where right now I can only select the cards in the columns, cards with the same name, or white cards. If I get Zerker form, it gives me side select, so now I can select a horizontal row of battle cards, which is really nice. And here we are, right at Yeti Blizzard. So this is going to be a fun boss fight, because he's actually consistent. I love it. So I want to draw swords, and I drew a sword, so I'm happy. So he's going to be doing 3 sets of movement, then he's going to jump over to my panel. I wait a bit, miss my counter hit, but it's okay, because I still have this plasma gun, and I'm just going to get him right here. And I picked up another plasma gun off of the counter, which is awesome. I like that. And I'm going to be weaving in some charge shots here, just because his after 2 of the jumps, he's going to be doing that attack, which he should be summoning like a torrent of things, but instead of that, I am just going to have him confused and no attack is going to come out. He's going to jump at me one more time. Counter hit. Boom, boom. And going into the next turn, he'll be dead. Just off of this plasma gun because he's Aqua Element, so double damage from the electric attack. So I didn't draw any of my Cypher Mail cards, which was kind of bad, and I missed the counter hit, but still, very consistent fight, so I enjoy doing Yeti Blizzard way more than Taurus Fire or Phantom Black. And now this is going to kind of be the intermission section of the run. This is kind of the midpoint of it, or even though there's a lot left of the run, I consider this sort of the early game to getting to all the late game stuff, because this is going to be all leading up to me getting my tribe on form. So right now, just more plot progression, and right after this, I'm going to be getting a ton of HP Mem by going back to Grizzly Peak. But Prof, in his donation, he mentioned blank cards. One of the big changes for why I'm playing on the European version is how I mentioned the wave command codes are all removed on PAL. There are these things called blank cards, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a battle card that's blank, and you could enter a wave command code to basically make it into almost anything from like a set pool of cards you can pick from, but they're all very, very powerful. But since all wave command codes are removed on PAL, the blank cards most of them are replaced with Zenny. Some of them are removed entirely. Like when I talked to Mr. Boreal to upgrade my Star Carrier, on the English and Japanese version, or on the North American and Japanese versions, he would be giving me a blank card there, but he doesn't give me Zenny on the PAL version. He doesn't give me the blank card, so he's just kind of a jerk on this version of the game. But pretty soon I'm going to go into Bud and Zach's house, and I'm just going to steal some Zenny from him, where in the other versions you steal blank cards from him. So that's the Sync Hook chip. It deals its damage to every enemy of the same type, which is really cool. And it goes between ranks of viruses too. So there was just the Gunner rank 1 and the Gunner rank 2. And for this, I'm going to... I don't know, actually. I'll do that. I had to think about what I wanted to do on this fight for a second. because I guess I have to use. I had to do
You
a
gotta
ball of
follow him
flames.
twice.
What a nice guy.
I wasn't sure if I was seeing things or not.
I could have just drawn that at the start of the fight, but oh well. The rank 2 Mets, the red ones, they can go into their shell, and they're invincible to basically everything other than chips that contain the subtype breaking. And so I just didn't want to use an attack that kind of spread out with an AoE effect and have the red Met being kind of invincible. Have a shield up, that's a better way to put it. Coming back in here real quick to grab an HP mem. Then I'm pulsing out. I'm going to have my friend Sonia talk to me. And then I'm going to go steal some Zenny from my friends. Or if SpongeBob taught me anything, I'm just borrowing this Zenny. It's free Zenny day. And then I'm going to be heading right back to Grizzly Peak. And this Zenny will be used to buy Cloakers. So my friends are great. They're just giving me all... They're letting me borrow this Zenny to just spend on Cloakers to avoid encounters.
Yeah, his room was a mess, so he won't miss it.
You probably didn't even know it was there. And coming to Grizzly Peak like this, again, this isn't just for buying Cloakers and getting more HP mem. There's actually a plot progression item I need to come here for, so the route just works out really nicely again. There's going to be a sub-chip called D-Energy, which instantly restores all of your HP, but that's not for me. An NPC in this game kind of soon is going to require me to get one of these to progress the plot, and I'm just going to pick up a free one right here, which is awesome. You can buy one of these from a shop in Echo Ridge, but it's a lot of money, and Zenny's already so tight for buying Cloakers that I really don't want to waste Zenny on things I don't have to. So I'd rather pick up this free D-Energy. And this is just going to be cleaning up a couple jobs and buying those Cloakers. And then I'm all set. And I actually don't know the confirmations for a lot of these dialogue options. It's just the proper dialogue choice always has like an ellipse at the end. So that's an easy way to remember which one to choose. Just look for the ellipse and that's the correct answer. So now I'm buying those Cloakers and I'm going to buy 7 of them. And that'll last me for like half the game. Okay, and I'm actually seeing something real quick, and that is important to note. I am low on Zenny, which means I actually need to get a couple bits of random Zenny here and there. So either from a random encounter or a green mystery wave, because I'm going to need to buy another bit of HP memory. So I will, in fact, fight this encounter. No, I won't, because basically what's going to happen with that encounter is the Voltai will move in front of the Mop Lance, and I won't be able to hit the Mop Lance, and everyone just wants to be a jerk to. Okay, I'm good with Zenny. Thanks. Alright, so pick up this job, and this guy's awesome, because not only does he have a job to give you HP memory, but he's also just going to give me more HP memory for having a high enough link power. And as you're seeing right here, with how the jacking out, or pulsing out, puts you to where you initially pulsed in, you can save a ton of backtracking by being smart with how you route that out. So this guy, even though he works here, he's entirely lost in this tiny hotel, and he doesn't know how to navigate it, so I need to go get a map of the hotel for him. He's gonna reward me with some HP for it, so...
I mean, his name is You Go Astray, so... he kind of fits the bill.
Almost all of the names in this game are really bad puns. And his favorite food is beef stew. It's a little factoid about him. Alright, so now that I've got all this stuff done, the Cloaker rate for the next area that I wanted to go to is 310. So since it's based on unmodified max base HP, got 310 exactly. So the route just works out super nice, and I've also got the extra Cloakers I need for half the game, and I have the required plot progression item of D-Energy, so just everything's working out awesome for me. I just love how clean this route is. So I'm gonna bump my mic, sorry. Oh, I don't even know what I was saying, but I'm talking to Sonia here, and I'm about to go into kind of a pseudo dungeon. And there will also be another folder edit happening relatively soon because Sonia is going to reward me with her own folder. And instead of going out and finding my own battle cards, I'm just going to take out a bunch of stuff from her folder and use that to greatly improve my own. So here's another matter wave coming up, but I don't even need to go out of the way for this. You just talk to this NPC right here and you get it. So this is kind of the main thing of the game is... use this matter wave real quick. There's a lost continent of Mu, and a bunch of bad dudes are trying to revive this lost continent and bring it up out of the sea or something, but we're learning about it here. And this is also going to be where I'm getting my out-of-place artifact, which is going to be the item that will give me access to my Tribon form. And you're going to be seeing a little kind of mini-game. Not really a mini-game, but just kind of a dungeon gimmick. He's kind of like a cross of a lot of characters. He's Base, he's Proto Man. I'd compare him more to Base from Battle Network. He's sort of the main antagonist. He's the last person from the continent of Mu, and he's not happy with everyone else doing all this junk with Mu. So I'm going to pulse in, use another Cloaker, and you'll see the little gimmick coming up. Basically, there are going to be these black holes that will spawn on the floor, and I need to input the proper button commands to not get dragged into them. If I get dragged into them, I get taken to the Undimension. And going into the Undimension is bad because it's basically just a giant empty space with an exit randomly located somewhere in it, so I just need to run around for ages trying to find the random exit. Alright, so I'm going to just focus a bit for this because I really don't want to get taken to the Undimension. So if there are any donations, now would just be a good time to hop on those while I focus on not messing easy button inputs.
Actually, a couple things we haven't talked about lately are the prizes that you can be awarded if you donate. There is a Nippon Ichi Software PS2 games collection up for grabs. Donators who donate up to $10 or over $10 between now and the end of Sweet Home are in the drawing for that. And also there's the grand prize of the Nintendo Switch along with a copy of the new Zelda for anybody who bids more than $25 over the course of the marathon. So keep those in mind. And to get us caught up on a couple other incentives, we are a little over halfway to angering the Chicken God in Secret of Evermore. We still need another $105 to advance that and see what happens when we anger the Chicken God. And the Defend glitch is also still up for grabs in Secret of Evermore. It's at $96 out of $750, so get those donations in between now and the end of the next run so we can make sure that we see those as well.
Alright, so now I'm going to be doing a brand new folder edit that I just thought before I took a nap recently, so I have no idea how I'm doing this folder edit, but it's going to make things faster and easier and more consistent on paper. Let's figure out how to do this. Live routing on stream. This is all I'm good for. Okay, so I have an error spread in my folder right now that I don't want, so that's next on my list of kind of things I'm going to remove. So basically with that folder edit I did, and kind of the reason I'm doing this, is because before I used to take the plus cannons out of Sonia's folder, and I had a really solid, really smooth folder edit for doing all of it perfectly. I ID sorted to kind of just set everything up perfectly, even with the random battle cards I was getting. But I kind of just came to the realization that plus cannons are really bad. Cannons are all just really bad in this game because the startup animation is way too long for them to be useful, and since they don't have a lingering hitbox, even though the startup animation on swords is pretty long, I would much prefer to have the lingering hitbox on swords, which is going to be a godsend on the rogue fights, because there are going to be a select few battle chips I really want to draw on the fight. Basically just anything with a lingering hitbox is what I'm aiming for. So that includes swords, Mad Vulcans, Grand Waves, like I mentioned earlier. And I'm also going to be picking up a Fire Ring here, which is one of those fire cards that I'm going to be using on Queen Ophiucha, which will be the boss right after Rogue. The reason why I don't have this in my folder edit previously, though, is because there's a decently high chance that I'll get another Fire Ring. And if I do get that Fire Ring later, which will happen like right before Ophiucha, then I'm going to need to do another folder edit anyway to add that Fire Ring in. So I'll just kind of combine both Fire Rings into a single folder edit. So basically what's going on in this section right now is that Mr. Hertz, who sent me an SOS, he's in big trouble right now. Basically, he saw Sonia and I on a date, and the date was so hot that his body is burning up, and I need to find him a cold body to cool him down. So some really excellent writing and plot progression going on at the moment. And I'm also getting this extra Zenny, which combined with the random Zenny I got earlier, this is going to be super nice, and it'll allow me to buy the HP memory I need from Big Wave, which will be, okay, double, no, hang on. I need 10 more Zenny. Oh man, I'm 10 off. Oh well. I can get that fairly easily. I'm just gonna need to actually pay attention to it. And I'm gonna finish up this job with Ivor real quick because you can only have one job active at the same time. So basically what's going on with him is he wants to write a poem, but for some reason he mentioned his hair falling out, and Mega thinks that entire job is just revolved around helping him prevent being bald. So thanks, Mega. But yeah, like I said, I need 10 more Zenny here. So I gotta get it from somewhere because the HP memory I need costs 3,000. But there are a couple other things that'll need to happen first. No, I'm actually completely fine on Zenny, so I didn't even need to check because there's one extra little bit of Zenny I can go slightly out of my way for, but it's pretty fast, and it's in a blue mystery wave. It's just a small amount of Zenny, so it's not something I'm always going to be picking up, but for this case, I can, so that's cool. It'll happen during this rogue scenario, which is happening right now. So how there were the black holes all over the museum, now Rogue is making black holes in town because the out-of-place artifact that I found at the end of the museum, Mega thought it would be a really good idea to eat it, so now you've got the artifact inside of you, and since it's like from the lost continent of Mu, Rogue wants it back, and he's just gonna try to do some bad stuff to get it. Fortunately, though, I'm not going to be using a Cloaker for this part, also because I can't afford it, but primarily because these little cutscenes that I'm going to be activating, they reset my step counter, so that's nice. And I usually won't get an encounter in this area. And I'm just going to focus on these commands again, because you lose a ton of time if you ever fail one. So even though they're not that hard, it's just one of those things where it's worth just being careful with it, because you really don't want to mess up something that easy and lose like an entire minute to it. So here we go, 400 Zenny, completely set. Got enough to buy that HP memory I need. And I'm basically coming up right on the boss. There's one more of these eyes I need to activate, and then I'm in the first Rogue fight. And Rogue is a pretty cool boss. And Rogue is also one reason why I revamped my folder edit. Just so I have more swords in my folder, like I mentioned earlier, so I have more lingering hitboxes to counter him with. So here we are, in the Rogue fight. He's going to do 2 sets of movement, then attack me, and I'm going to use a lingering hitbox to attack if I draw one, which I really hope I do, because countering with anything else is extremely hard. And I got good draws, so I'm happy. 1, 2, counter. So I'm actually going to let him go out of confusion. Okay. Slightly too late on my pause buffer, but whatever. Doesn't really matter too much. And I'll just get him with this. And next turn, I'm probably going to be taking the longsword and the voltai. And I'll just keep him in paralysis because I don't really care too much about what he's doing. So I can take that, and then I'll actually take the paralysis on this, and I can lead it into next turn. And he's dead. Okay, wasn't the best, but it worked out. And you're going to see Rogue 2 more times. The first Rogue fight is going to be relatively similar, or the second Rogue fight is going to be relatively similar to the first, but the third Rogue fight is going to be his EX form, which is infinitely harder, and it's going to have 2 phases, and that is the most dangerous boss fight in this whole game, just because your folder is so bad in the speedrun compared to like where it should be in a casual playthrough, plus Capcom really wanting you to use the wave command cards. So now I'm going to leave here, and Geo, he's getting kind of upset because apparently like everyone else just got taken away by Rogue, and Luna's your only friend left. But Luna's going to get kidnapped soon anyway, so Geo's just hecking everything up. But this is where the D-Energy I picked up earlier is going to be required. This D-Energy is needed to advance the plot with the Hertz. And there is a shop here where you can buy a D-Energy for 1,000 Zenny, I believe. I need to do one thing real quick because there's an HP memory I can grab right here real quick, and this is going to be required to sneak run on my way to Phantom Black, or yeah, because it's sort of like another scenario with Phantom Black. Phantom Black is the one who will kidnap Luna. So Dr. Vega is the main antagonist, but Phantom Black, who you saw as the first boss in the run, is kind of her right-hand man. Right, so now that I got that HP memory out of the way, I'm chilling, and I can go give that Hertz's D-Energy. Ah, I was like a pixel away from that door. Good game. Oh. And this is why it's awesome not having an actually 100% run rate, even when it should be maxed. Alright, so if I succeed to run here, that's fine. Oh well. Not the worst thing in the world. Going here, get the HP mem, and then I'm going over to the Hertz. Yeah, and Gio's feeling really bad about himself because he just feels like he can't help anyone. Even though you supplied that Hertz with the D-Energy, that Hertz still isn't feeling better. Although I guess they only have 1 HP, so the D-Energy really didn't do much. Alright, so now I just go over to Luna's house, and we're pretty much all set up with this. So now I'm just heading back home, and I have to have my mom give me some good life advice. Talks to me about growing up and just having responsibility. Alright, and now she's going to give me another lecture on how I'm becoming very mature because I'm worried about letting others down. But I'm going to let Luna down again immediately after this cutscene because she gets kidnapped. But fortunately, my man, Ken Southers, from Big Wave, he never lets me down. He always hooks me up with the goods. And he's hooking me up with an HP Mem 20 right now. And I will be getting one more bit of HP Mem before I go straight to Queen Ophiuka, who's going to be like the boss of this scenario. And this is why I had to complete Ivor's job earlier, just because I couldn't have Ivor's job active and then finish this real quick before I go get his HP Mem. Even though he's in a more convenient location now. And a recurring theme with a lot of these jobs is so Capcom didn't actually need to write any dialogue for them. The characters just kind of laugh, and then if you ask what they're laughing about, they just say, that's a secret, we're not telling you. So Capcom didn't actually need to write any stories or take jokes, tell jokes. There's something going on with jokes there. I think the joke is Capcom's writing. Alright, so just another Cloaker. Real nice. Heading up to Ophiuka. Oh, and you actually did see this during the museum, but I got an encounter while a Cloaker was active, and that's one of the Mr. Hertz encounters I was talking about, which is a 5% chance on a successful encounter roll. But I got the first turn run, though, so whatever. Worked out. Worked out for the best. And Green Mystery Waves, there can be a lot in my path like that, or there can just be none in my path, but there will always be one in my path right here, and all of these can give me Fire Rings, which I want for the boss coming up. Hey, Zenny. I'll take it. I like Zenny. But I will need to do that folder edit that I mentioned earlier just to add in that Fire Ring. And these guys are also obnoxious. I love obnoxious enemies. Alright. So here's their gimmick. Well, you're not really going to see it because of how I'm going to fight them. Every time you use a battle card on them, they'll put up their shields, or if you fire a fully charged Buster Shot. But when they're confused, confusion is awesome, and just go right through it. So again, though, Apollo Flame MVP, if I draw Apollo Flame on any of these encounters, they're instantly over, because that is my boy. Alright, and my boy doesn't want to show up. He's ditching me. He's ditching me everywhere. I can't handle this. So this guy comes to attack me. Oh well, that was like slightly too early. What I can do here is actually nothing. I'm just going to take Apollo Flame. He's reminded me that he's still here, even though he doesn't want to show up when I need him. Alright, gonna quickly throw this Fire Ring in my folder, and it's going over that air spread I still have. That was okay, still needing that air spread in the folder. And here we go, it's Ophiuka time. I really need to draw Apollo Flame, I really need to draw Fire Ring. Only way this fight goes quickly. So let's get to it. Come on, don't let me down now. You let me down. He always lets me down. Yeah, Fire Ring does a lot of damage, though. So basically, Ophiuka does the 2 sets of movement. Then she will fire off that attack, which she did, and I would tell you the name if I remembered it. Gorgon Eye. So one thing I can actually do here that I'm going to try and do, that might be one of my worst ideas ever, I'm just going to wait. Hey, it worked out. I was just completely guessing on the timing for that. Hey. And then that goes off. Alright, and she's dead. This fight was okay. I didn't draw Apollo Flame like I wanted to, but my other boys backed me up. There we go. Anything under 30 seconds I'm pretty happy with. So 37 seconds, which is right around the border where I want to get. That fight can go up to like a minute long, though, if you really don't get any good draws. This is where Apollo Flame's really, really important. Oh, okay. He's that friend, dude. He just always lets you down. Can't rely on him. Okay. That's cool. I'm happy with that. So that fight could have gone a lot better because it instantly ends. There's no way for them to avoid Apollo Flame SP if you draw it, so just fight's instantly over. But that was okay. What I was waiting for, like why I didn't attack for so long, is because Jet Ski is a breaking chip, so it will go through their shields, and I put Paralysis Plus on it. So I was hoping they would line up, and I could just Jet Ski through both of them, paralyze them, and then I could just lay into them with the rest of my battle cards and quickly end the encounter, which it would have worked out if they had better movement, but I can't really control that, so it happened. But right now, my friend Rollbuster, I'm going to go get his friendship points, and that will be required to open up a shortcut later in the run. and I'm doing that right now because he will be in Grizzly Peak. And I need to go to Grizzly Peak anyway because I want to do another job. But before I do that job, let's go equip some abilities. Now I've got Undershirt and Light Sword. Light Sword is the ability that will automatically start me in every fight in Zerker's Tribon. And I'll just have access to side select, so now I can select cards in a horizontal row, which is the most busted ability in this game. Like, as simple as that ability sounds, it's really, really good. Saurian form gets super armor, and all Ninja gets is anti-damage. Anti-damage, Ninja's really good. Ninja's what the TAS would use for this game because of the card Squall 3, and you can get that from Cypher Mail, and you just combine Squall 3 with the passive Elemental buff, which is plus 20 damage to wood-type cards, and Squall 3 hits 8 times, and the TAS would counter with Squall 3 into another Squall 3 into another Squall 3, and then everything in the game would just die. So I'm gonna get this job. So if you thought snow rolls were obnoxious before, welcome to Snow Roll 2.0. These are the big snow rolls. These are the big boys. I don't like them at all. They're faster. The counter hit window's smaller. They have more HP. Oh, I don't like snow rolls. I don't like snow roll Gs. I want to stop. Now I have to fight 3 of them in a row. Here's the G-Virus Gauntlet. Do you want to talk about these guys, Oro?
So, as we've said before, these guys are really, really obnoxious. You have to break their shields first. Their counter windows are really tiny and kind of random and obscure. So, there's a bit of a system that Plum has for getting counter hits and kind of taking them out quickly. You'll notice now with the Tribon that we have a card called Thunderbolt Blade, which is what he just used to finish this encounter really quickly. And it's going to make counter hits all the more important. Thankfully here we have Apollo Flame, so it's going to go really quickly regardless.
My boy. Although my boy let me down. Oh, what a jerk. Basically one thing with snow rolls that I believe I mentioned before, but I'd like to bring it up again because it just adds to how obnoxious they are, is the amount of time before they start rolling is entirely random. It's awesome. Sync Hook is pretty good, but what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and line up this Voltai to get both of them, but I didn't, and I'm only getting one, but I've got Sync Hook here, which is going to miss. Oh well. Okay, that worked out. I was trying to counter hit with that, but I didn't, and I will counter hit with this. And Thunderbolt Blade. Thunderbolt Blade! Ah!
Yeah, that's the one unfortunate thing about this version of the game, the PAL version, is that there isn't any voice acting, which there's a bunch of in the other versions, and it's really entertaining.
Yes, that's why the Japanese version is objectively the best version of this game, just because you get to hear all of the amazing voice acting. And I mean that like completely seriously, the voice acting is awesome in this game. Alright, I'm going to get this Plasma Gun 1 star, and now my Plasma Gun 1s are going to do 90 damage, which is pretty ridiculous, and my Grand Wave gets taken out for that. So now my Grand Waves get unbuffed, but I don't care, because Grand Waves, the most useful aspect about them is just the lingering hitbox for counter hits, so I still like them in my folder, even though they do less damage, but 90 damage on a card that inflicts paralysis that I have 4 of, that's awesome. Alright, so there. I made my friend Rollbuster. He is dinosaur version. So now I can draw his card in battle, and that's going to let me go into Double Tribe, which basically I go into that element, and I'll get all of the benefits from that tribe in addition to the tribe I'm currently using. And there is a thing called Triple Tribe, since there are 3 versions of this game. And when you triple tribe, you go into a form called Tribe King. And Tribe King ruins the speedrun because Tribe King has a buster shot that does 450 damage to the entire field, and it charges up super fast. And you have max buster, and yeah. and in the any % card speedruns, you immediately go into Tribe King, where to actually get Tribe King without using the wave command cards, you would need to actually find a real-life friend to brother band with of the opposite version that's not on your game cartridge. Or alternatively, you just buy 2 copies of the game, and that works. Alright, so double tribing. And I'm double tribing, and finally Apollo Flame wants to show up, so I'm not going to show you Vanishing Blazer, because I'd rather just use Apollo Flame. Because I'd need to sit through the dimming animation for Vanishing Blazer anyway, so... Double tribe! Dinosaur! There we go. I'm getting that voice acting in for you. I got you covered. Doesn't matter what version of the game we're on. I got your back. Alright, and here we go into the Skywave. The Skywave, I keep saying everything in this game is obnoxious. That is the Skywave summarized. It's incredibly obnoxious because this has a 1.5 times walk frame multiplier. So, yeah, every 5 frames the game is rolling more encounter checks.
It's got some jamming music, though.
The music is awesome, and after this first trip through the Skywave, I will be getting... Okay, if I ever draw Apollo Flame and sometimes Cancer Bubble, I'm going to be just like snap drawing them and taking them for the fight. But this is the only Skywave trip I don't do without a Cloaker, and man, the Skywave trip is brutal. There's also a lot of Wood-type viruses, and the Wood-type viruses will knock you out of Tribe. Like, you take double damage, but who cares about the damage? The more important thing is the custom gauge won't be rolling and time will just stop for you to get knocked out of your Tribe, so you really don't want that to happen. But yeah, basically all that happens here is you draw Apollo Flame or you get 1-turn runs, and if neither of those things happen, then you just kind of cry. So that's this section of the game. It's really good. So I guess while I bash my head against some random encounters, if there are any other donations you want to get on, you can do that for a bit.
Absolutely. Yep, we have a $10 donation from Patriarchy. Never thought I'd get so absorbed in watching this game. They heard earlier that you were low on Zenny, and you have a friend in Keishura who implores you, take my Zenny plum with a $1 donation. We have a $31 donation from an anonymous donor. Thank you so much for that. And Dark Raziel has submitted $25 saying, let's go Tribe, let's go France.
Thank you for the Zenny. I need so much right now. That's this entire game, just, where's the Zenny at? I need more. But this is basically the end of the Skywave, and I'm really happy with the battle card that I just got. Heat Upper, it does a lot of damage. It's Heat Element, and there's going to be another Wood Element boss that I'm going to fight 2 more times in the run, Terra Condor. So having a really high damage fire card to just slam on him is awesome. In addition to, it also breaks through shields, and if that wasn't good enough, it's just higher damage than basically anything else you'll get in the entire game in terms of the speedrun. So it's going to be awesome for the final boss fight. Wow, that was awesome. I didn't get an encounter there, and even though I really should have. I'm just god gaming it out with this luck. All right, so basically I'm instantly going to be able to hit the Cloaker rate for both the Skywave and Mess Village, which will be very nice. So I'm going to probably get like 1 or 2 encounters in here, and then no more encounters for the rest of the bit, basically. So one other sort of thing about Star Force is while you may think with a name like Star Force it's probably going to be space-themed, this game is entirely unrelated to space. It's the only Star Force game like that. This game instead chooses to kind of mimic real-world locations, or at least focus on like their little mythos. So that's pretty neat, and I like the game for that. It's like a nice change of pace. So right here, Luna's afraid to go on the bridge because it's making like a creaking sound. I'm going to find out there's a very, very big Hertz taking up the bridge, and I need to get that big boy some float shoes to lighten the load, and then the bridge won't break when Luna gets on it. But up here, real quick, I'm heading towards this HP memory so I can just Cloaker through the area. And this should be the only encounter I get here. And it's a first turn run, so nice. And I've got some pretty special movement that's going to allow me to get through the rest of this area with no random encounters, just on a single Cloaker, which is very nice. Because in previous incarnations of my route, I used to do some different movement that would generally make me get at least one extra random encounter here. But like I mentioned earlier, how you can like pulse into areas or like screen transition to reset the step counter, I abuse that to basically avoid that encounter I used to always get. So yep, now I gotta go find his friend who's given me the float shoes. Which is actually pretty funny because instead of just being a key item, they actually give you the ability wave float shoes that you need to get to. Yep, so I will also be picking up another bit of 2000 Zenny, which is one of the blank cards that was removed on the PAL version of the game, the European version. So I'm going to jack into these chickens, and here we go. There's going to be 2000 Zenny in here, because why not? And you'll see my Cloaker just ran out, but since I'm pulsing out of this, my step counter's been reset, and I'm going to talk to the big boy before my the game starts rolling in counter checks, so that's awesome. And I used to always get one encounter there. So just a little bits of optimization here and there. And anytime you can make this more consistent, it's great since the run rate luck in drawing Apollo Flame so often, it can kind of get you, but there's a lot you can do to mitigate it, which is nice. So now I've just got to talk to all the NPCs, got to go Dragon Quest style. Can't do anything until I advance the plot by talking to everybody in town. And pick up some more HP, man. So that's always fun. And I don't need to ride down the elevator again because of the order I talk to those people in. I get cutscene warped right back to the bottom. Or if you talk to them in any other order, you're going to have to ride the elevator again, which is comically slow. Yeah, but basically, Rogue didn't actually kill my friends. He just warped them to random points in the world, and all of them kind of get ego complexes after they get warped. And Zach here, he's on a reality TV show that finally found the Loch Ness Monster, even though it didn't at all. And he's obsessed with it now, so he's not willing to come home back to his family and friends. So I gotta go change that, because I can't let him respect his dreams of being a reality TV star.
He's selling it a little too hard.
Just follow your dreams as long as it doesn't involve being a reality TV star. Right, and this is one area that, because I didn't get enough Zenny off of random locations earlier in the run, I don't have a Cloaker for this, so I will be getting some random encounters here. I'll average 1, I can get 2, and these can be 3-turn encounters, so pray that doesn't happen. I know I'm praying. Ooh.
I'll cross my fingers.
Yo, thank you, it worked. You did it after the encounter, but...
No,
like,
it's just frame perfect. I had to do it.
oh, there
as
you
you
did. Frame perfect, cross your fingers, so I only get 1 encounter, and it was a 1-turn run.
But that's 2 frame perfect inputs. Like, that's...
Well, you have 2 fingers, so it works out.
Yeah.
All right, and there we go. That's the final bit of HP mem for this area. And now I'm basically heading right to the dungeon. Just gotta listen to some more relaxing music for like 2 seconds before the panic theme plays again. And this dungeon's actually pretty cool because for the longest time, I didn't know that basically the gimmick of this dungeon is going to be the game gives you riddles, and you need to solve these riddles to find buried treasure to dig up. And the game gives you no indication that there's going to be like just arbitrarily placed other items everywhere and just seemingly random spots. But I was fortunate enough to, I imported the strategy guide for this game. So in the year 2017, strategy guides are still more useful than game FAQs because they're giving me the hot secret item strats in the Loch Ness. And there's actually quite a bit of Zenny hidden in the Loch Ness. So this, finding out about this reduced a lot of Zenny luck in the run that was previously required to get from random sources. And I'll also be getting a Plasma Gun too, which is just another really nice battle card. And I will be picking up a D-Energy, which will be safety for the final dungeon of the game. Yo-ho! And I really, really like the music for this comp. It's really good. It's probably one of my favorite songs in the game. And I had just the perfect amount of Cloakers, so I am actively keeping track of my Cloakers. The routing for Cloakers is very tight, even though a lot of it is based off of random Zenny drops. So that's like one thing you always need to keep in mind when you're doing this run, is just like how many extra Zenny you can afford to throw at Cloakers. So yeah, like these just completely arbitrary spots. Hey, there's a plasma gun too there. You never would have figured out to dig there, but there you go. But the riddles are stuff like the last one was a crown. This one tells you to, or like it's a riddle where the answer is a raft, so you dig by the raft. These others make sense, but the other items, they're just there. Buy the game guide. This is Capcom's money-making scheme. Capcom's got you covered. You gotta buy the Wave Command Code toys after buying the real physical battle chips and the e-reader cards and all the chip gates. And you gotta buy the strategy guide too, so you can figure out the hot strats for Loch Ness. Capcom's running the racket. So this is the last area of the dungeon. This is a pretty short dungeon, but it's probably because the developers were expecting you to spend a good bit of time trying to solve the riddles. That's a Lex Slash.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks for the confirmation. I had nothing else to say about that. I'm just trying to figure out because, like, since I really want Zenny off of these, but I can get battle cards, stuff like a Lex Slash, like, do I want to put this in my folder? I have no idea. I've never used a Lex Slash before. I know exactly how the battle card works and what it does, and it's going to get buffed by my Tribond since it's Elect type. I guess I have a Lex Slash now. I'll be editing that into my folder before I go fight Plesio Surf, because I also have the Plasma Gun 1 to add. And this is the final little hidden hertz that I need to dig up. And right here is where I will also be digging up the hidden D-energy. There you go. I'm trying to think of what I want to remove now from my folder. I'm thinking about just the normal swords, because while I do really like the lingering hitboxes, I'm not sure what else I'd be removing. Let's find out real quick. What do I want to take out? I could go with the jet skis, mop lances, or whatever. I might just remove swords. I have an extra attack plus 10 I'll take out. I think I'll take out the other attack plus 10 too, because the attack plus 10s aren't extremely useful, and I'm taking them out during the Lemu boss fight anyway, so I'd rather just generally have more powerful cards than just getting a little bit of extra damage on, say, my Voltais or Mad Vulcans. So here's Plesio Surf. This fight is... well, I think I just explained it. This rock, it moves in random ways. It's not fun. What I got. Alright, hang on. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait. Any day now. Okay. Thunderbolt Blade. Now can I draw Voltai? Okay. Good game. Really good fight. So you can get hecked really hard by those rocks, because the location of the static one, that's random. The location of the moving one, random. The direction it moves in, random. This is like Mega Man 8 all over again. Having flashbacks. Alright, so now I gotta go find my other friends who are still alive, just but in different parts of the world. So I also need to make a quick little detour, but Zach's house, it's right next to the bus stop, so we're chilling. I'm talking to Zach, finding out about things. I don't know, I haven't read the plot to this game in ages, but I'm on the bus. That's what matters. I'm about to go buy some Cloakers. So ideally, I buy 7. No, ideally I buy 8 Cloakers here. If I can't buy 8 Cloakers, I buy 7 Cloakers here. If I can't buy 7 Cloakers here, then I need to make another trip back here when I have more Zenny. But I got that 970 Zenny pickup in Loch Mess, which is greatly bolstering my Zenny count. So pretty happy with that. So hopefully I can just buy 8. Yo, I love video games. So now I never need to make another trip to Grizzly Peak again, because I have all the Cloakers I need for the rest of the game. And there was actually one other thing in the route I wanted to do that would potentially be a really sick reroute. How I mentioned that even if you don't have the 100% Cloaker rate, Cloakers are still effective. I've been considering spending Zenny that would normally be spent on safety items, so more of the energy, for the final fairly hard Gauntlet that's also very random. So instead of being a little safer there, I would buy more Cloakers to just use raw on both Terra Condor's stage and what's his face? Moo. In both of those areas, I will just be relying entirely on run rates and drawing Apollo Flame or my Giga card, which is Avalanche in this version. But the raw Cloakers would be helping, and I could have one extra raw Cloaker right now. But, oh well, this is a marathon, so it might be better, especially since I've never tested using raw Cloakers before. But let's ignore that. That route was going to be perfect. That's what I'm going to do in all my future runs, and it's going to be A-okay. So I'm actually delaying my Cloaker usage for a bit here, because this is going to allow me to get through this area on only a single Cloaker. So I'm going to get into these encounters, but they will be one-turn runs. And just, it's like 10, a little or more than that of time loss. But it saves 500 Zenny, and now because I saved that 500 Zenny, I can actually go use a Cloaker raw. And that last Skywave trip, that was absolutely miserable. Now it's a pretty comfy, casual stroll through the park. Just chill with some good music that doesn't get interrupted by the battle theme every 2 seconds. If there are some more donations, I'm just going to be running around chilling for a little bit.
Actually, a couple things. I'd like to do a couple quick shout-outs for Carrie Fry for designing the RPG Limit Break logo, several of our sub-emotes, and some of our promo banners. You can see her work at carriefry.com. That's KARIFRY.com. And also to LLK, who's been a longtime contributor to GDQ Marathons and is one of the designers of our promo banners, attendee badges, and some more emotes. So you can check her out at jazzaboo.com, and that's JAZAABOO.com. Just a reminder, we're here to support NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. NAMI works to increase the availability of mental health care, promote early identification and intervention, and support mental health caregivers. If you're interested in learning more, you can go to NAMI.org or reach out to NAMI on Twitter at @NAMICommunicate.
And now I'm in the next major area of the game, and again, just like Loch Mess, this area goes by pretty quickly because it's basically just talk to a bunch of NPCs, talk to the NPCs again, talk to the NPCs again. Okay, you're at the dungeon. Although
the NPCs here also have some really good names.
Yeah, let's ignore that for now. One thing about What's Up is all of the NPCs in this game, they won't talk to you in this area unless you actually start your sentence with "was up." So they speak the same language, unlike where I needed to get a translator module in West Village. Now I just need to say "was up" to everyone. Thanks, localization. And this extra HP mem that I'm grabbing is basically just for safety. It's not actually getting me to any more HP mem thresholds. Like, it's basically on the way, so why not pick it up, right? So the thing with this area is, so basically these people worship the lost continent of Mu, and when Bud got warped here, he like fell out of the sky, and since he fell out of the sky, this high priest here, who's actually like an evil jerk, he's making everyone believe that Bud is a Murrian god. So yeah, everyone's worshipping him right now, so we gotta go bring him back. We gotta bring him to his senses, so what better way to do that than we gotta go cook him some ginger beef.
That actually ends up having nothing to do with ginger, as it turns out.
Yeah, all you need to make some spicy ginger beef is onion, egg, beef, rice. That's it. You don't even need a stove or anything. You just use a microwave. So one encounter here is good, and this is looking like it's a one encounter. Okay, so I failed the one turn, so this is going to be like getting a two turn. Oh well. I don't even care about getting hit by the Moai heads. I just don't want to get hit by green carpet, since green carpet will knock me out of tribe. And that'll just waste time. More time than just the cust gauge. Alright, so second turn run, fine. You only get upset when you get 3 turn runs. So yeah, this scenario is just like really quick because basically right after this I'm going to be fighting another version of Rogue. Did I pick up the beef?
I don't think so, no.
Thank you. I almost beefed it right there. I accidentally
This game
talked.
needed more puns.
Capcom should hire me, please. Alright, I'll try to stop. Okay, but yeah, now I'm going to go back into the previous area and Rogue will be there. This isn't Rogue EX yet, so this Rogue is pretty similar to the first fight, only he'll have more HP, basically. That's mostly it. Rogue EX, though, like I said, that's like the only scary boss fight in the entire run. Everything else is... it's not that bad with my folder. Although Hollow, who you'll be seeing later, Hollow is a pretty cool guy, you'll see. And you have to fight Hollow and then Rogue EX back to back. So, the 2 cool bosses there. Oh. So the encounter rate's kind of bad here, and you can easily get 2 encounters on your way to Rogue. Taking damage is whatever, but it kind of sucks when you just lose like 30 seconds to a minute because you get 2-3 turns right before Rogue. Alright, so 2 encounters. I usually get that. Oh, and I have a Lek Blade. I forgot I even picked that up. That's awesome. And I got 2 one-turns, so that's double awesome. Alright, so here's the Rogue fight. I'm going to focus on this for a bit, because this fight, it can go certain ways, and I got a really, really bad draw for it. And I'm going to double tribe, so you can see some hot double tribe action. Double tribe! Dinosaur! Alright. Let's see if I can counter him. It's really awkward to counter him with anything that doesn't have a lingering hitbox. Nice. Right! This is why I hate this version of the game. Your Buster Shot causes invincibility frames. And I always forget. And I'm so used to just weaving in charge shots, like just on everything else, that it's really, really... Vanishing Blazer! It's really awkward for me to, like, realize that I can't weave in charge shots. So there you go. That's Double Tribe. It's pretty cool. Honestly, Double Tribe Saurian's a lot better than Double Tribe Ninja. I really like anti-damage, but while it's fun to use, Super Armor is just kind of better. So you can actually do 2 things with your brother cards, though. You saw I had the option not only to Double Tribe, but I had the option to Roulette. And basically, Roulette... your brother cards, basically, you know how I set my favorite cards? When you brother band with somebody, your favorite cards will get added into the roulette. So if you don't actually want to double tribe with them, you can just do the roulette to get one of their favorite cards randomly. So now basically all I'm doing is I'm just going to run to the tent, then I'm going to be making a loop-de-loop in the Skywave, and then I'm at the dungeon. But why I actually need to get, even in an any % card speedrun where you don't care about having extra ability points, your friendship power, you still want to get this auto brother band, which for me is Rollbuster, because having 300 link power right now is what's required to get a pass key that will open up a shortcut from the Echo Ridge Skywave to the Was Up Skywave. So going like the first way, I'm going to need to go from Was Up through the Mess Village Skywave, then through the Echo Ridge Skywave. So it just saves a lot of time to have this little shortcut. Getting some spicy one-turns going on. Alright, so that was pretty good. Only one encounter leaving this area. Usually I'll get a lot more than that. And I'm going to hold off on using this Cloaker for just a little bit, because if I wait until like right when the game is going to start rolling me encounter checks, I can actually get through this area on only one Cloaker. So that saves a good bit as any. So this is some cool little routing that I do with my movement. And again, it's just going to be another trip to the Skywave, nothing special, but when I get into the Echo Ridge Skywave, normally, like, so what should be happening is all my friends we stole Bud back and we're heading home, but, well, the priest just turned into Terra Condor and he's gonna kidnap everyone, and then I need to run back to Was Up, and if you're not cloakering the Skywave and you don't have the shortcut, holy moly, you're getting like an hour worth of encounters on this trip. But we're speedrunning, and I got the speed strats from the speed route.
You got the strategy guide.
Heck yeah, the strategy guide turned me into the speed man. Yep, so this guy right here requires the 300 link power to get the Was Up key. So now I'm just going to run back to the entrance of this area, and it'll have like a special little gate I can open with that, and that'll lead me right to the portal to Was Up basically. And I'm going to be using this a ton in the rest of the run. So it's not just saving time right here, but I will be using this shortcut a lot. And I actually have that extra Cloaker since I didn't use one earlier, and like I said earlier, I'm going to be using this raw in Terra Condor's stage. So I'm not going to use it right here because the encounter battle levels are actually a little bit different than they are. They're lower than they are in Condor's stage. For some reason, I like glanced at that and I thought the pups were one row away from each other, because Cancer Bubble only hits one row with the closest enemy and then the enemy right behind it. So since there was a space in between, Cancer Bubble wouldn't have ended that. All right, so now I'm going to pop on my raw Cloaker. So this, everybody basically thought this was random for the longest time, but I actually found out some really cool speed tech for this comp, which is just super awesome. So basically, when I collect these hurts, I'm gonna need to take them to their there are two Bubba dances. Wasn't ready for that. Juked me. Terra Condor is gonna be diving at me, and he will try to hit me, and if he hits me, I lose the fire hurts. I need to go back and grab it. But there are actually specific like trigger points on the ground where he dives at you, and I'm going to be doing some special movement in a lot of places, mainly in the next area of this comp, that will allow me to completely avoid the swooping triggers, and I'll save a lot of time, because if he does swoop, you got to get into the hidey hole. And I love drawing Apollo Flame on these encounters, because both of the battle cards I can get from this fight are awesome. I either get Berserk Sword, or I get Fire Dance. I want Fire Dance more right now, because Fire Dance is going to be more useful on both of the Condor fights, since Condor is Wood Element, and the Fire Dances will hit him for weakness. But if I get Berserk Swords, the Berserk Swords are going to be better on the final boss. So I'll be adding those into my folder later. And the only real way I'm going to be getting either of those battle cards is if I'm drawing Apollo Flame on these encounters. Because if I don't draw Apollo Flame, I'm just going to snap run them, because I do have a decently high chance to just get a one-turn. And just getting a snap one-turn is so much faster than taking Apollo Flame, using Apollo Flame, and then waiting for the entire animation. So it's just a lot faster to snap run, but it's very random. Earlier today, I was doing a practice run of this game, and I had the absolute god Condor. Every single fight here was a one-turn run. I got very few random encounters throughout the whole area, and it was bonkers. And I was like, the encounters I did drop Hall of Flame on, I got awesome battle cards in all of them, and wow, that was a good run. I saved so much time here in that run. So that run's gonna be like very hard to beat just because of that. And this is the final fire hertz of this area. So I'm heading to the last pedestal, and as soon as we get into the next area, you're gonna be seeing my cool little strats to bait Condor's movement. Whoa. Yeah, for some reason, you just have to sit through the whole whoa. You need to know how intense that fire is. And this area is going to introduce, there are going to be like many hertz. And I'm going to start needing to bring multiple hertz to the pedestal, but instead of taking a straight line to the next pedestal, I'm actually going to be running around in some kind of awkward ways, but taking these weird little routes, I'm actually avoiding the swoop triggers for Condor, so now I never need to get into the hidey holes. So this saves a good bit of time. This theme is also super good. It's like second favorite song in the game, probably. And this is going to be another path I'm taking that's basically the same as the first path I took. But again, this path avoids all of the Condor swoop triggers. This area is just a lot bigger, so I guess they didn't fill the entire thing with triggers for him to swoop, just because that'd be extremely obnoxious. Which, wow, they didn't do something obnoxious in this game. That's shocking. But yeah, the last area was a lot smaller, and I'm assuming because it's smaller, pretty much the whole area is just swoop triggers, which is why I can't do much about it. And I have to deal with like one swoop on basically every hertz. So you're gonna see, again, instead of like, as soon as I get off of this little wave road, I'm going to be running like around the hidey hole, and I'm gonna be like kind of doing a loop-de-loop. And because of that loop-de-loop, I'm avoiding the trigger. And I also need to be careful with the fire hit guys, because if they hit you on the grass panel, which is what the genies are laying down, I take 260 damage. It's quite a bit. So yeah, by running this way and going around this hidey hole, it avoids the swoop trigger. I want Heat Upper. If I get green carpet, I'm not going to use it, but I mean, I still like drawing a Hall of Flame just because it guaranteed that encounter instantly ended instead of needing to potentially be a 2 or 3 turn run. So I got green carpet, whatever. It's still good that I just ended the encounter quickly. Alright, and after I get these 2 Mets into their pedestal, Mets? Everything is a Met now. After I get these 2 Mr. Hertz into their pedestal, I am going to do the final pedestal, and this comp is basically over. And this has actually been a pretty good comp, and my first section of it was really solid, and I really enjoyed using a raw Cloaker there. I thought it helped out a lot. I don't like going for green mystery waves on this comp just because the encounter rate, but there are some I'll try to pick up. Heavy Cannon I don't want at all, but whatever, I got it. It was worth it because you'll get like several thousand Zenny if the green mystery wave is a Zenny one. So that's just an unavoidable swoop trigger right as you're getting on this. Nothing you can do. Any Zenny I'm getting right now would just be for D-Energy though, which is entirely for marathon safety as opposed to speed. But I'm not too concerned about it because there is an extra D-Energy I can pick up in a blue mystery wave in the final dungeon of the game that I will probably get depending on how one of my boss fights goes when entering the area. Alright, and this is the final pedestal, so I'm going to trigger this swoop, and I'll be able to get to the pedestal before this swoop hits me. Like, right before it. Those are, like, kind of tight, where if you flub your movement a bit, you will get hit by Condor, and you'll need to grab the hurts again. But it's not that hard. So I will be adding a fire hit into my folder, and this fire hit's going to go over. I have no idea. Alright, folder edit, taking out a sword, ID sword, heat upper, and I'll take the Berserk sword. Both these cards are good. Berserk sword less so right now than the heat upper. Just take everything, I guess. Oh. Thanks, video game. I think I actually took Paralysis Plus on this Mad Vulcan. That's not good. I didn't. Okay. The reason why I was worried about that is because Mad Vulcan, if it had Paralysis Plus on it and it just paralyzed Condor, let's double try. Yeah, this is slow, but I'm going to do it because it's going to be awesome. Double try! Dinosaur! Alright. My Buster Shot actually gets a lot better during this fight, but because I'm still using Mirage Eye, which is more of a utility Buster Shot, as opposed to being a powerhouse, it's not the greatest. But I'm going to get Vanishing Blazer, and I'm actually not going to use anything here, and I'm just going to... I need to get a Voltai. I can do this. This is fine. Please give me a Voltai. Condor! Alright, so this is a really bad fight now. That was just... It was my fault, but the main thing that happened on that fight was I have never used Berserk Sword to try and counter hit before. Okay, so... I shouldn't have gone into that phase 2, but you'll see a much better Condor that avoids the phase 2 in the refights. Hopefully. By that, I mean I'm not going to counter with Berserk Sword. One thing I could have done that I should have done is, since I wasn't familiar with the Berserk Sword counter timing, is I should have just wasted the Berserk Sword and then countered with my next chip, which would have guaranteed the counter hit. Then I got Vanishing Blazer, and then Vanishing Blazer would have killed. But you got to see Double Tribe, and that's what's important. And one other thing to note real quick is after you trigger some like plot progression points in the game, encounters will actually rank up in difficulty, and you'll see a lot of the enemies and areas change, as well as the Cloaker values will change. So where I Cloakered through Loch Mess on the first visit through there, I'm going back to Loch Mess right now, but I'm not going to be able to Cloaker it, because by defeating Terra Condor, I ranked up the entire place, and now I can't Cloaker through it anymore. But I'm only there for a very brief amount of time. So you will also be seeing me use the shortcut that I unlocked to go to the Was Up Skywave, because that's just a lot faster. So this is a really, really good shortcut. And it definitely makes the extra time it takes to go get the Auto Brother worth it. Especially since you want to go there anyway to get the HP memory. So now I'm finding my final friend, Sonia, who Sonia is in Bermuda Maze, and Bermuda Maze is basically right next to the warp from the Echo Ridge Skywave. So just get on that warp, and then I'm basically right at Bermuda Maze. But here I'm gonna need to go. Apparently there was like an airplane flying around Bermuda Maze, and it had like a projector, but the airplane like busted up or something, and now everything is in the lock. So I gotta go dive. And again, this is just going to be a little bit of movement for a while if you want to talk about anything else or read some donations.
We have a couple coming up here. Yep, we have $10 from Valora. How could I not obey our master? Let us anger the chicken god. Hail Demon Chocobo. We have another $25 donation from the Dark Raziel, so merci beaucoup. And a $10 donation from Zalesium with no comment, but it is sharing a little bit of love for naming some of the characters for Sweet Home. And just a reminder that Sweet Home will be beginning in just over an hour, so if you want to change the names of those characters, currently the ones in the lead are Toast, Jazz, and Donuts. If you've got some better names, you want to get those donations in currently.
And Apollo Flame is still an absolute pal. So basically that's... Oh, and I got a Voltai. That's awesome. Apollo Flame is doing work for me. There's one other battle card that I can get here that I kind of like, but at the same time, I don't think it's good enough to like really actively try to get. Also, this is what happens when you get hit by an Aqua attack on Ice Panel. You get frozen, and then Breaking Chip will deal double damage to you. Also, great. Did I have Apollo Flame in my inventory this whole time?
Yeah, you have it.
Oh, not bad, dude. Not bad.
He's got your back and you don't have his. What the heck?
I let him down. You see, he was trying to make up for all those instances earlier, but
He's trying. You're just not letting him.
this is like a one-way street, this friendship right now. We're just not returning each other's favors. Yeah, so again, though, I can't Cloaker anything here, and I have a kind of bad run rate, so hopefully I just draw more Apollo Flame, but I don't know if he actually wants to show up, because he's mad about that other fight where I didn't draw him and I 3-turned it. It's pretty short, though, so I'm like almost at the end right now. So I'll probably get 2 more encounters in here. And then dodging is just kind of giving me something to do because it's really just waiting for the cust gauge to fill up. One thing that's like real, oh wow, I'm probably gonna get another encounter because of how early this one was. Ninja was supposed to have Quick Gauge as a passive ability. Like even on the back of the box and promotional material for this game, it references the Ninja form as having Quick Gauge, but in game they just forgot to add it. So Ninja's just so much worse because there's kind of like a trio of post-game abilities in Side Select, Super Armor, and Quick Gauge. So Saurian gets Super Armor, Zerker gets Side Select, and Ninja gets nothing. Okay. It's really sad because Ninja would be... I would still be running on Ninja if you had a Quick Gauge. I'm not sure if it'd be better than Zerker because it's hard to say, but oh well. Can't win them all. Can't change the past. There was also supposed to be, there were 2 tribes that were removed from the game, which is probably why it's so weird that Zerker is on, the Zerker version is on both cartridges for the game. They removed the Aqua tribe, which was supposed to be based on like pirates, which was awesome, and the Aqua cards in this game are ridiculously powerful and they're all multi-hit. So having an Aqua tribe, if that was in the game, that would be the tribe to speedrun with. And then there was also an Angel tribe, which probably would have buffed null element cards, which would have been pretty cool with stuff like Mad Vulcan. But it also makes sense that there should have been the 4th version in the Aqua tribe, because Saurian has no weakness. So it's like, Saurian's the PvP version. Just because you have basically no weakness and you have super armor. Both of those things are extremely good in PvP. And this is only talking about PvP without wave command cards. Because if you use wave command cards, you're both just going to be in Tribe King at the start of every fight, and it's going to be just a huge mess. That is one thing that I will say was like kind of a step back from Battle Network is coming off of like Battle Network 6 especially. Like and Battle Network 4 and 5 still have pretty good PvP. The Battle Network in all the Star Force games was a massive, massive downgrade. Although if you like spamming swords, go play 3. Swords got buffed so hard in 3. Like where they have a really, really slow startup animation in this game. Swords are like instant in Star Force 3, and they're so good because of it. Well, I mean, they're good for a lot of other reasons, but man, swords are good in 3. So now Geo needs to reminisce about Sonya, because you found Sonya, but apparently Sonya's a bad guy now. So, oh, all your friends are turning evil. So now we gotta go reminisce upon our friendship. And by that I mean we need to go trigger some plot cutscenes, and then after this, I have to go fight a bunch of Murrians, which are just as awful as the last ones. And then I have to go die on Rogue, because it's like a forced death. This is like the first time you're gonna see Rogue EX, and oh, it's Rogue EX. So Rogue really is like the base of the Star Force series. Alright, so come on, Apollo Flame. Let's go, buddy. Hey. Also, I do this a lot. I just get so excited about drawing Apollo Flame, I forget to take any other battle cards. Oh, that was like still pretty good. Just because I drew Apollo Flame at all, and those fights will go over one turn if you're not drawing good cards. Although alternatively, I can get stuff like this to mess around with. Okay, I'm glad they didn't move. Actually, maybe I wanted them to move. I don't know. So this guy attacks me after 3 movements. Boom, buster dead. So, easy enough. There are going to be 3 more of these. And you can roll these for roulette, which that's not the roulette I wanted, but I'll take it. I got jet ski. Okay, I tried to counter hit. Didn't work the way I planned. Okay, that's nice. Oh, I didn't mash fast enough. Oh, what a disaster. I'll take this because they're gonna trigger their shields as soon as I charge. Sure. You mess up, but you still god game it out. Alright, so this kills that one, and I plasma gun. Okay. I'm fine with this. Okay, and I was just waiting because if they did move, awesome. Oh. I was just gonna teleport into those guys' attack. I believe I mentioned this already, but after 3 movements is when they attack. The counter hit timing is a little weird because you don't know if they're gonna do melee or the other. Here, I can do this. I can show you a counter hit on them. And by that I mean I can miss a counter hit on them and lose my tribe. It's the name of the game. Okay. Got the counter hit, but not before I lost my tribe.
Gotta still prove that you can do it.
That's what I said earlier, though, about counter hitting being awkward on them, because you don't know if they're going to do the laser move or if they're going to do the melee move. Melee move, free counter hit, but you need to be faster reacting for it. If they're doing the laser, though, you actually need to wait a bit on the laser, because the counter window is like way after they like teleport to the thing. So even if you throw out a lingering hitbox like I did with the Mad Vulcan, it wasn't going to be a counter hit. Now I want to go sleep. Gio's feeling bad after that fight. So you're still bummed out. You couldn't rescue Sonya. You just lost to Rogue EX. You couldn't even leave a dent in the guy. So now we're just gonna try and run away again. Except instead of running away, we're gonna run away into some friendship, and they're gonna buck us up, and then we'll be ready to go get Sonya back. So now I'm heading back to Bermuda Maze. Woo! And she is a boss. Harp note, her AI was not changed at all from Star Force 1, and it's a complete joke. I'm not going to say she's the easiest boss in the game because Yeti Blizzard exists, but the harp note's up there. Yeti Blizzard is harp note tier. I'd use that to describe it. Now you're going to see the awesome shortcut going to Bermuda Maze. It's like right out this exit, super convenient. But because of the Skywave's dumb walk frame multiplier, it's still worth cloakering all these trips. So by the power of friendship, we will duel to the death. Doesn't sound like the best idea to me, but that's what they're gonna do anyway. That was a little early. Oh well. You can make fun of me for missing counter hits on this fight all you want, because I deserve it. Thunderbolt Blade! Alright, and she's gonna take one more charge shot, which I'll do after Power Chord, and then she's just gonna die to Buster Shots. So her pattern, if it wasn't obvious, is she'll summon Amps twice, then if you're in the center row, she goes for Power Chord on you, and if you stay in the center row after Power Chord, instead of doing another set of Amps, she will go for her, like, kind of pulse attack. It's kind of like Shade Man's chip from Battle Network. I don't know any other way to describe it. But yeah, you counter hit during that, and it's like, it's a kind of easy window, but I'm used to playing this game on a Wii U Virtual Console through Injex, and because of that, their Wii U Virtual Console for DS games has like a decent amount of input delay. So since I'm just on like an original DS now, my loading times are much slower, and I'm also not having any input delay right now, which some people, they're like really put off by input delay, but input delay is one of those things where it's just whatever you're used to. So like you can easily get used to playing with input delay, and then that's just what you're completely comfortable with, which is like what it is for me. I'm like doing a pretty decent job with most of these counter hits, since I've only been practicing on, I'm borrowing his DS capture card. I've only been practicing this with no input delay for like the past 2 days, but I'm doing pretty solid, so I'm happy. And then Bermuda Maze, it's not interesting if you want to plug something or get a couple donations in.
Just another quick reminder that the characters for Sweet Home are going to be closing relatively soon, and the lead is still Toast, Jazz, and Donuts. And an update on Angering the Chicken God. We're up to $156 out of $250 to make that happen. We're still at 96 out of 750 for skipping the defend glitch. That's something you're really going to want to see, so make sure you get your donations in for that.
So yeah, the thing with Bermuda Maze is, imagine like a Lost Woods type thing, only it's 19 rooms long. I feel like that's all I need to say about this. It's the Lost Woods, except if there were 19 rooms of it and they all looked exactly the same.
There is a way you can get guided through it, but it's much slower than just knowing where you're going.
Yeah, so kind of like the monkey in Majora's Mask to lead you to Kome, I believe. You can follow the like hooded lantern hurts, and he will lead you to the exit. Although waiting for him wastes heck of time, so I don't do it. Wow, big boys, Zenny. I'm in there. All right, now I'm going to change my abilities real quick. So I'm going to remove Undershirt, HP plus 50, equip HP plus 500. Then I'm going to use my 2 large energy. I'm going to save. I'm going to save 3 times during this run. Wow, saving takes so long on original DS. But Hollow, this fight is obnoxious, and I shouldn't be saving here, but marathon safety, who knows what'll happen. By who knows what'll happen, I mean watch me beef it. Basically, Hollow's gimmick is every single red panel here. Oh, we traded. Okay, thanks, Hollow.
Yeah, so Plum was saying there is all those like glowing plant panels will shoot out those little extra enemies that shoot out a projectile that basically is what you're weak to and will take you out of tribe. And obviously you don't want that.
I was trying to weave in some extra charge shots, but it wasn't happening. All right, so if I draw Jet Ski, that's awesome because Jet Ski is gonna lay down some ice panels, and he was in iframes. It's a good thing I didn't even get my bad Vulcan off. All right, so he's gonna attack here. Oh, and I spawned on top of the idiot. Welcome to Hollow. And he is weak to wood element, so. Hollow. The big gimmick of this fight is basically he just tries to spam whatever element you're weak to. So I'm gonna show you what it's like to see. So now that the ice panel's down, enemies won't be able to spawn on that. So now he's confused. There's thunder coming down, I guess. I don't really care. And he also has a move where he can resummon his panels, and if he does that, cool, because he just stands still like an idiot. And the reason why I equipped the ability wave before that fight is because I'm going to get a full HP refill right now. And now is the only dangerous fight in the whole game. I know I saved before Hollow, but Hollow's... he's not that hard. It's just one of those fights where if you play like complete trash, I wouldn't put it past myself to do that. You can die on him. Rogo. Wow, this is a fight. I have nothing else to say. Where the other rogue fights are pretty consistent, this one's not consistent at all. His movement patterns, you can just choose between 2 random things. He does them so fast, you can't react to them. You need to get stuff like this, and then you just go to town on him. So I'm going to pause buffer after 1 set of movement. And even then, I pause buffered, and that wasn't enough. And so this absolute jerk's moveset is he will have a shield that regenerates every single time he moves. Okay. I don't want to push him into the next phase. As soon as he goes below 600 HP, the next phase is going to start. So I'm going to let him do 1 more set of attacks, which will be this move. Goes to the back row. I'm going to hit him with this, which will paralyze him. Then I'll get the sync hook. So this is about as much damage as I'm getting in on this phase, and good sync hook. While the Mad Vulcan was going off, I'm just gonna focus because this fight is hard. He's very fast and very random. Apollo Flame, my boy. I actually don't want Apollo Flame here. I could have done something else here, but I'm too scared. I'm a little baby. What I could have done is taken the Elect Slash, but he has a couple patterns where I wouldn't have been able to do anything with the Elect Slash. So he's dead. Okay, the only dangerous fight in the game. Everything else, easy peasy. So, pass Rogue EX. Yo, thank you for the round of applause. I love it. All right, and now we're basically at the end of the game. I'm going to do a little bit more plot progression. I'm going to need to do, I guess there is one other dangerous fight, not a boss. And this fight is more just draw dependent as opposed to actually being difficult. Oh, I got to turn on the TV. Oof. A video game that actually just tells you to do TV instead of go outside. But yeah, stuff's going down. And I'm going back to Bermuda Maze, and when I go to Bermuda Maze this time, I'm going to be forced into a 4-virus gauntlet with all G viruses. And one of the viruses is really... Oh. It's pretty dude nice. So yeah, again, I know I've been like a broken record about this the entire run. But if I draw Apollo Flame, these fights that could easily kill me, they instantly end on the first turn if I just draw Apollo Flame. It's hard to accurately describe how good Apollo Flame is. Like, just what a good chip. And then right here, just back to Bermuda Maze, but right before I enter Bermuda Maze, I'm going to be saving, just because I can beef it. Saves take so long here. All right. And so that was like pretty minor marathon safety stuff. Normally I wouldn't do that, and I'd just like risk the run instantly ending. But I don't think anyone here would be very happy if I let the run instantly end right now. Hey. It's here. Although this is actually 2, because this isn't the fight I want to Apollo Flame on. But it still works. The next one, there are going to be 2 wood viruses with obnoxiously large amounts of HP and incredibly non-trivial patterns. And they can also knock me out of Tribe, which, fun. I'm actually going to Voltai this. I get that. Bam. This works out really nicely. Alright, and now I can focus on this guy, which 1, 2, 3. Oh! I messed up that. Oh well. I can do this, and he's dead. Wow. Or not. But basically, if you move into their row 1, 2, 3 times, you teleport forward. Here he is. Dead. So if I drew Apollo Flame on that one, it would have killed the Mop Lance and the Fox Fu. This is... Ooh, what am I doing? I'm taking this. Okay. I like that. I can work with this. Okay, so if he goes for that move instead of the kick, that's like where he flashes you, and when he does that... Can I mash? I can't mash. Oh well, I'm gonna kill that guy first, and I can horizontal Lux Slash this guy, and I get Thunderbolt Blade. Awesome. And there's gonna be one more of these afterwards. Honestly, enemies that don't flinch you are really nice because you can counter hit through getting hit, which is a big issue with how Star Force 2 does invincibility frames. And the first thing I'm going to kill after the Apollo Flame is going to be the Reaper, because Reapers have much more annoying patterns than either of the Champy type of viruses, because these guys will just teleport to my row. Bam. Good one turn. So those were the 2 most dangerous fights in the game. I'm not worried about anything else. And the Undimension, how I mentioned the Undimension previously, and it was... I said the exit was random, and if you go in there, it's just giant empty space where you can get a bunch of random encounters trying to find the exit. The exit to the Undimension there is always in the same spot, so you just run upright, always out. So here we go, off to the final dungeon. Woo. Get excited. Woo. Oh, thank you. I can't believe the hype and tension in the room right now as the lost continent of Mu rises up from the depths of the ocean. We even have this ominous music telling us to be scared. I hope you're scared, because I know.
I'm
Whoa,
pretty spooked.
I'm shaking in my boots. And there's also going to be a bit of amazing writing that completely doesn't make sense, and I'm going to complain about the story in this game real quick. So basically what's going to happen right now is, so the bad guys, they're draining everyone's friendship power, and that sucks, right? But all my abilities are attached to friendship power. I have 330 friendship points right now, and everyone else, their friendship is now at 0, and they're all angry and mad all the time. Although for some reason none of my friends lost their friendship points.
They stole their
So I
Facebook
still get my
likes.
abilities. I feel like what's going on is I'm actually just liking all of my own Facebook posts, so I don't even need friends. I have that huge friends list, but it's just me constantly retweeting my own stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna check their link power. Oh no, they have 0 link power. And her best feature is her clear skin. What
If
wonderful
that's not
complexion.
doing it for her, I don't know what is.
She doesn't need friendship. She has a wonderful complexion. And now I'm going to go run over into Luna's house and meet with my friends. And I guess this is why we keep our friendship points. Because no matter what, we stick with it through thick and thin. We're best buds. We got each other's backs always. Unlike me and Apollo Flame. We have some issues to work out. And now I also just got an email, and you get your version-specific Giga card. And, well, let me tell you, all of these suck a lot, except for Flying Impact on Ninja. Flying Impact on Ninja is awesome. That card is super good. It's hard to like accurately describe how good Flying Impact is. It's an AoE that'll instantly end almost every encounter you draw it on. It's breaking damage, so it can go through breaking enemies. It hits some of the more obnoxious enemies for weakness. You don't need to worry about obstacles like cubes, which will be in a lot of spots. I have 2,000 zenny. Wow, I'm rich. It was probably because I got that got the big bucks in Bermuda Maze. All right. And I need to go through Bermuda Maze one more time because I'm heading over to the Lost Continent. But we're the last trip through Bermuda Maze to just get to some random bosses. That was 19 rooms long. Now I only need to go through like 5. I only need to go through like 5 to get to the final dungeon. And one thing to note is why I'm like not even cloakering Bermuda Maze is because the walk frame multiplier is like 0.5 or something here, so the encounter rate is reduced because of that.
And you're changing areas constantly, so the step counter's constantly reset.
Oh, I got lost. Okay, I think I'm going here. Help! I'm lost in the Bermuda Maze. Oh my god, just get me out of here. Okay, I hope I'm in the right spot. I think I know where I am, but this is like a very loose I think I know where I am. Remembering 5 rooms is really hard compared to remembering 20 rooms. Alright, I made it. My memory saved me. The only time I will ever say that in life. Alright, we're chilling. And now I gotta go fight Phantom Black EX, and this is basically sort of my gauge for how Moo is gonna go, is either my Phantom Black fight is gonna be awesome and I'm gonna own it in God Game, or I completely beef it and my Moo is gonna be terrible. Alright, let's God Game it out. Come on, boys. And by that I mean I'm just gonna Hail Mary this. Good game. Yeah, so his movement is entirely random. I just completely guessed with that Mad Vulcan. That's really how you have to counter a lot of enemies in this game, is you just need to guess when they're going to attack you. I wanted to wait for my charge shot so I could weave in a charge shot, but that just wasn't in the cards. Because I'm running no cards. Haha. Oh. Okay. And I won't be able to counter him with the Mad Vulcan, like I can't even guess, because he's going to be in iframes for this attack. But on the next set of attack, I will try to counter him. 1, 2. Why not? If I draw a Volti, I'm going to be really happy here. If I don't draw a Volti, I won't. It's not going to be that slow. Hey.
There we go.
Okay. All right, so I took a hit there, but good fight. So I'm feeling Moo. I'm feeling this. All right, so welcome to the hardest area in the game. I say hard very loosely. It's just annoying. All right, so in case you didn't think this was a DS game with constantly switching between the top and bottom screen, now I get to draw. The only time the touchscreen is really used in this game. And that's awesome. So if I draw Avalanche on a lot of fights, Avalanche can instantly end them. And I want Volti too. If I get Volti too, thumbs up. If I don't, I was going to get the Buki because there were 2 of the Buki viruses. Buki is actually a decent card. I should probably put it in my folder. It does very high damage, and damage is really all I'm looking for on the Lemu fight. So if I run into any of these duders, I'm going to need to draw a symbol on them. It's going to be just a random symbol that'll flash on the screen real quick. I'm going to need to draw that within 3 seconds, and the drawing is incredibly finicky in this game. So I need to like kind of go slow just to make sure the game is like fully registering my lines. Run past here, and ooh, dodge that. I felt like running back and going around that way would be a little faster than needing to draw a symbol and wait through the explosion animation for one of the Murrians. And it worked out. And it almost didn't work out.
All according to plan.
Heck yeah, dude. God game. And one other nice thing is when these Murrians are spawned, you will not get any random encounters. So I kind of path myself out through these that I need to go the longest duration of running while I have these Murrians active. Just to avoid the most random encounters, which is A-okay in my book. Yeah, like the upper left diagonal line that I drew, I actually did draw that line, but I went a little too fast and it didn't register. So that's why I kind of go a little bit slow on some of the lines, because you need to be pretty careful, because they really want you to just exact a straight 1 point to 1 point. Any sort of deviation or going from 1 point to 1 point too fast and the line doesn't register. It's really not that bad. It's just one of those things where if you're trying to like super speed it and you got turbo mode on, you're probably not drawing it correctly. Okay, so I'm actually fine with this. There are 2 things that can attack me. Well, actually, there's only one thing that can attack me, because the Reaper will never spawn. If the Reaper spawned in the top right corner, like an actual smart enemy, he would realize, oh, just like that. Oh man, his AI got improved. Capcom patched him. I can't handle this. I was gonna say if the Reaper just spawned there, he could get the diagonal scythe to go on me. Which I shouldn't have said anything, because apparently he learned. Yo. So again, I like Berserk Sword, Volti 2, awesome battle cards. If I get a Voltic Eye 2, I'm instantly putting in my folder because I'm about to fight Yeti Blizzard. So having a Let card is real good. I got Berserk Sword too. I'm only putting that in when I get to Lemu. And since I'm not worried about the time limit on these guys and messing up and getting into an encounter, I take those much faster, since if they do get messed up, it's kind of a rel. And in the bottom left, there's a Priest comp where I can get a free D-Energy there, which I do during a lot of runs for safety reasons. But I'm not doing that here because I just got the big boys any pickup. So this guy can do two things, and I don't like him doing either of the things he can do. So, please, he gave me the good pattern. He can either summon like a storm of things to fall on top of you, or he can, okay, just wanted to hit that, or he can do the jump attack, which he does in the first fight. If he does the jump attack, you can counter him. If he does the boulders falling from the sky, you can't counter hit him. So generally, if I just like spam my battle cards really early like that, that just means I'm hoping on having him give me the pattern where he doesn't jump. But that still worked out really well because I just drew a bunch of electric cards and slammed him into his face. I love the sirens in this game. They make this area feel very tense. And really the only tense thing about this area is you get a random encounter right before you're about to shift into another Murrian section, which would have avoided it. But both of these battle cards I'm getting in this fight, awesome. I'm really happy with either one. Really happy with that. So I don't even mind getting that encounter. That was an awesome encounter. This encounter was really early, but whatever. This is probably going to be the only encounter I get going into the next section of Murrians, and it was one turn, so awesome. There was an enemy in that encounter called a black hole, and black holes are jerks. Basically, black holes, they can only be damaged by sword-type battle chips, and draw some symbols. And they have a completely unavoidable, undodgeable, unanything attack. It will just always damage you, and okay, you're gonna see what happens when I fail this. So I tried to go too fast, and I messed up the first one. Then I tried to go fast again because I messed up, and actually I just drew this, so I don't care. So you get into, this is why it's really bad. G-Murrians. If Murrians weren't awful enough, G-Murrians. A G stands for giant, I think. Honestly, I don't know. It might be something really dumb, but G makes sense. But yeah, okay, that was awesome that I just drew Avalanche there. So you beef it, you get rewarded. Beef is constantly recurring in this speedrun.
I think that's just speedrunning in general.
Dude, why is it? I've like only gotten this symbol the whole run. I don't mind it.
You had like one that wasn't bad.
And there are a lot of times, like just with the Budoks, these Murrians don't go all the way to the walls in a couple spots, which I wish it happened more often than it is, but it's super useful to just slide right past them. Voltagai 2, I like. Dancefire 2, I like. Buki 1, I don't care about, but I'd put it in my folder. Dancefire 2. And these battle cards are not going into my folder for a little bit. The Dancefires will be added before the Terra Condor refight. For obvious reasons, because it's for weakness. I think I like drew pretty much that symbol on one of the Murrians. Why couldn't that be the Murrians rune? Alright, so Plesio Surf. Counter with this, counter, boom. And I'm not going to double tribe because all double tribing here means is I get smacked in the face for weakness. And this Avalanche will break one of the rocks and deal 400 damage in addition to freezing Plesio Surf. That really wasn't the rock I wanted it to break, but that's how the cookie crumbles. Alright, and he's going to be dead after I land this chart shot. Ah! Thunderbolt Blade! Alright, so there we go. Do you want to get the next Link Force Big Bang?
I guess.
Alright. I'll swap up some voice actors real quick. Gotta get some variety in here. Dude, this game loves this symbol. I've never seen this before where it just like only gives me one symbol ever. And another Marine I can just slide right past because awesome corner. Another quick bout. Going through here. I'm getting hecked over. Okay, a different symbol. I don't mind that Marine. He gave me something new.
Square.
That was an entirely non-trivial. Oh, door back.
Yeah, we had a little break. It's fine.
All right, I saw the square. That's all I needed in my life. All right, and there are just 2 more runes to collect, then the Terra Condor EX fight. And then I am solid. Final boss time. Are you guys excited? I'm pumped. We're almost there. Whoa. I just got smacked. I'm so excited. He slaps me. I'm dreaming. Or at least now I'm wide awake. Bubba Dance 2s. Oh, they're way worse. The first type of Bubba Dance, they will just make all of the enemies invincible. These guys choose to just reverse your controls.
Hey, it's our best friend again.
And they always reverse your controls like right as you're trying to dodge an attack. And it always gets you. Alright, this is all I need for a good move apparently. I just need the sideways M. Just rotating them 90 degrees, and you're chilling, I guess. That's how you speedrun Star Force 2. Take notes, everyone. And I'm going to be getting this Blue Mystery Wave right after this. It actually depends on if I instantly encounter this. Okay, I didn't. I just love seeing new symbols. I want variety in my drawing career. Oh, just gonna slowly wait behind that guy. If only he turned around. He could have done his job properly. Now I got Kaiser Knuckle. Now my weapon is actually good. Because as soon as you get your Tribon, you lose the confusion effect on Mirage Eye, and then you just do the game with an incredibly weak Buster. But it still doesn't really matter, because like the main thing with my Buster is it paralyzes. Like, it's better than any amount of damage it could do. Not really, but I'm going to convince myself that. Oh. Oh, and I remember this symbol, because it looks like the freaking bubble flower from the third one, Paper Mario, that you get in like the sun petal metal area.
Flower Fields.
Go easy on me. I haven't played that game in like 10 years.
Wow. Disgusting.
And I'm gonna figure out what I'm taking out here. Wide sword, Mad Vulcan. Actually, kind of want the Mad Vulcan. These go in, Berserk Sword goes in. So the Buki can go in. So I'm gonna be adding the Buki, and I want the Recovery 10. I want 3 Invisibles. And I said Recovery 10 when I meant like Recovery freaking 300 or 200. Kind of a big difference there. So punch him in the face. That's all you gotta do on the bosses. Just give him a hook. Give him a hook. Oh man. I'm not sure how I feel about removing that Alright. So you won't always get your Link Force Big Bang, which is Thunderbolt Blade, off of the whatchamacallums, but you get some chips. They're usually good. Any extra battle chip you're getting is solid, so. Not gonna complain about getting the goods. Nice lock on. And I'm going to be, oh, I actually, does anyone want to tell me how much HP he has?
That much.
He's going to be left with 10 HP and he's going to go into his next cycle. Never mind.
Nice.
I'm just going to get knocked out of tribe, but it doesn't even matter because instead of him just leaving away, he would have done his next cycle, which is where he just spawns the barrage of missiles, which I don't want to see that. No one wants to see extra missiles. And now final boss time. Yo, kid, before you go on, you should save. And I'm about to go buck wild on Lemu. You guys ready for me to go buck wild? Oh, I was really worried I was just gonna smack into that encounter and I didn't have my stylus ready. Guy wanted to go buck wild on me. Folder edit. Oh. Sonya folder, ID sort twice. Remove invis, invis, invis. ID sort twice. Ophiuka, harp note, attack plus 10. Back to Geo folder, ID sort twice. Take the attack plus 10, peril plus. They don't do anything. I want to get rid of the Grand Waves and the Mad Vulcans. I need to add some chips. So I add ID sort twice. I'm getting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I add the Buki. And I'm going to add a Voltai. And I'm going to use one of my 3D energies because I have 3. And Lemu, final boss. And do you want to explain Lemu? I think I told you how this fight works.
I kind of understand.
Just the first phase.
Yeah, so pretty much this phase is broken up into 2 main parts. The first phase, you're not going to see any damage happening to it, but you're going to notice this little blue kind of glowy symbol thing in the middle is going to start shifting towards red. That basically takes a certain amount of damage to go into the next phase. 800, yeah. So there will be damage being done to the boss technically, but you're really not seeing it.
And I want to be careful with these Murrians because since they have elemental affinities, they can and will knock me out of my tribe. And I don't want to just like kind of go through all my battle cards right now because I still need to do the rest of the fight. But I'm just going to smack this because this phase sucks. I'm focusing on dodging. Boom. Alright, now the fight actually starts, and I still need to be very careful. I don't want to get hit by a Blue Murrian or I get knocked out of tribe. I'm gonna Berserk Sword this and just pray I don't spawn on a freaking Ding Dong. And I got Berserk Sword too. I did it. God gaming. I wanted Vanishing Blazer just so I could have Oro yell Vanishing Blazer.
I was gonna say, I'm getting robbed here.
Yo, blame the game. My skill was on point for that counter. So I'm going to try and do another counter hit with the Berserk Sword, even though that went so poorly last time I tried to do it. Oh, okay. And Voltai, because that'll deal damage during this phase. I'll actually counter hit him next phase with the Mad Vulcan. It's giving me the runarounds. Oh, go easy on me. That doesn't really matter. I know how that card works. Don't tell me. I can play video games. Just ignore what just happened. That would speak to the contrary. All right, that was actually completely pointless to use Invis here, but I did it anyway, and I'm gonna say it was awesome, and Lemu is dead. Yeah.
And a counter hit on the final hit. Nice. Seems good. There
Up high for that. I didn't get to finish the fight with Vanishing Blazer, but do you want to say Vanishing Blazer anyway?
Vanishing Blazer.
Whoa. Check out that sick voice acting. in our hearts, I finished him off with Vanishing Blazer. You just have to believe, okay? All right, and time is coming up super soon as I lose control of Mega Man, which I will just tell you. So as soon as I reach the top of the stairs, so time. All right, so that's Mega Man Star Force 2. This is a good game, and apparently nobody knew that Geo was Mega Man, but now there's this scene where everyone has a TV in front of them, so they can see Geo dying to Lemu in real time. So, just like you're watching on stream, this is the alternate reality where Geo beefs it. But yeah, now everyone knows that he's Mega Man, so there you go. No one is scared anymore. I did it.
Power of friendship prevails.
The
once
power of
again.
the PAL version of the game, replacing blank cards with Zenny. Do you guys want to watch some credits?
Heck yeah. Credits. Woo. These are some pretty comfy credits, though.
Yeah, so one thing that I should have been doing if I knew I was going to go through the credits is IGT, since this was single segment and my IGT is relevant. IGT does include like time after the end of the game, so that time where I just watched them saying no one is scared. No one is scared except for my one fear, which is where I don't skip a cutscene and lose time in IGT. That is my one fear. Yeah, so here's what you could have picked. We've got two separate versions here. We've got Zerker X Ninja, the objectively better version. Even though I don't know what the word objectively means.
And they broke it.
And we've got Zerker X Saurian, which I just opened up. So thanks for ruining my factory sealed copy of the game with that bid war. Just tell me whenever the next runner gets here. We'll just hang out until then, I guess. I mean, there's post-game stuff I can do if I need to. You know what? You know what this calls for?
What?
This calls for Goat Kung Fu.
Oh no.
I don't care about my IGT because there's a boss named Goat Kung Fu, and I gotta go fight him. And before I can fight Goat Kung Fu, I'm gonna go buy some Cloakers. So I'm gonna go head over to Grizzly Peak real quick. I contemplated doing this mid-run, but I kind of just wanted a better time as opposed to showing
that's
off
actually a
cool
good run.
bosses. Yeah, I'm really happy with that run. I got hecked over a couple times, but you always
Kinda
get
hard-
hecked sometimes.
Kinda hard not to.
And you can't unheck always. The unheck is just not an option. Yep, so I'm buying more Cloakers, and then I'm heading to... I'm buying Cloaker, and then I'm heading over to Loch Ness. After you defeat Plesio Surf, Kid Gruff will appear in Mess Village, and you can talk to him, and then you can go over and hang out with Kung Fu Kid, or Go Kung Fu, which is the better name. So again, just like a couple quick shout-outs I want to give. Huge shout-out to Prof9. Like, this speed run would be none of the Star Force games. Like, I've all heavily rerouted them. All of my reroutes have basically revolved around info dumps that I've picked up from Prof. So Prof was just like a massive player in how these Star Force games are as speedruns right now. And then there's also, like I said, K. There's actually a decently active Japanese community for the game, and they're all pretty cool. So there's like Zazuro, I think Kira, K. It's the Japanese runners I remember off the top of my head. And then K again is doing commentary for the Japanese restream. I never thought this shortcut would be used to go to Goat Kung Fu, but here we are. One of my favorite parts about Goat Kung Fu, though, as a boss, is if you remember when I interacted with these sheep earlier in the run and they made this bah noise, well, that's all Kung Fu Kid does, because apparently goats and sheep are the same thing. And even the power of Kung Fu can't get him to stop saying bah. And yeah, many Plesio surfs are just everywhere, but hello-ha. Kid Gruff, he's here, he's ready, he doesn't care about these Plesio surf dudes. Apparently Jerry Romero, what's he doing here? Darn, that's how I feel too. So I'm just gonna go pulse into here, and then it's just a short little walk. Look how everyone's just staring at these dudes, but they actually have no dialogue that even mentions them. And then like one other common like recurring theme with a lot of post-game in both Battle Network and Star Force. I hope you like panic themes.
Oh no.
But yeah, just a short little walk over to where Goat Kung Fu's hanging out. Then we'll give him the old 1-2. We'll give him a bout. Alright, we're almost there. Just gotta take a few more zippy zooms. Bah! Bah! I do feel like sparring.
Right on.
Right on. Now you can appreciate Goat Kung Fu in his full glory. Alright, I've never practiced this fight before. I only have a vague understanding of what his attacks are like, so. He also likes to take you out of tribe because... Okay. Oh, I had Voltai. Whoops.
Do we have time for a quick update?
Yeah, we do. This
Okay.
fight's almost over.
So we have a couple more minutes until we start up with Sweet Home. And if you want to get your donations in for naming the characters, the top 3 names will be used for this run. Currently, we still have Toast, Jazz, and Donuts with $40, $40, and $28 respectively. So if you want to have one of the characters named something else, you need to get your donations in quick.
Runners here, so we're good.
All right, so there you go. That's Goat Kung Fu. You got some hot ba action in. So I showed off my favorite wave change in the whole series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning into the Limit Break and donating. Take it easy, everyone.